Well, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to Midnight Metal.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, Robert Meyer Burnett. It's time to get midnight metal tonight. It is 19. It's not 1980. It's 2022. Could be the most metal year, certainly the last year you'll be alive until next year. Hopefully, we'll all be here next year, and I can't wait to get into 2022. And it wouldn't be a show without my co-hosts. First of all, you know her, you love her, you've seen her more now than ever. How are you tonight?
I am very well, Robert. How are you? It's Midnight Metal, Robert.
It is.
We're back.
I can't believe we're doing this Fakakta show again. My God.
The first Midnight Metal of 2022.
It's quite an amazing thing. And, I didn't pick necessarily a topic tonight. I just figured we'd all have a discussion about 2022. Like, what's going to happen? What do you want to have happen? What do you hope will happen?
Oh, wow.
Because, who would have thought this is now year 3 of the pandemic years? Gabriel Garcia Marquez, was it Love in the Time of Cholera?
Yes.
Will the sequel be Love in the Time of Corona? I'm sure that the book of a magical realist book about this, it's got to be coming down the pike soon if someone hasn't already read it or watched it. No, wait, written it. You know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. I thought we would have seen more productions about this entire pandemic, but I'm surprised at how few productions have been completed and have been presented to people for viewing.
There's a couple of horror movies and things like that.
Mm-hmm. There's a few, and I did see one or two sort of like end of the world pandemic style films at some film festivals. But overall, I thought we would have had a lot more content by now, and that's okay that we don't. It's just surprising since it's had such an impact over everything, everywhere.
It really has, and it's amazing to see the cases have skyrocketed. I didn't know. I knew some people that had corona and some people that passed away as well, but the last 2 months, I know 25 people who have had it or have it.
It is bizarre. It just seems to be popping up everywhere, and I was very scared in the sense of not being able to spend the holidays with my family because some family members had been exposed, and I had to tell them, we just have to kind of stop this, keep this at bay. And even people who did that are still getting it. Like it's very shocking, Robert, and it's disturbing, and I really want it to end now. Like this needs to end. It needs to end.
Well, it's funny if everyone was vaccinated, everyone, and then we isolated for a month, we would tamp it down, but we don't have enough people that are vaccinated to do that. And of course, vaccinations they don't stop people from getting corona, but they prevent people from the serious. You look at the hospital reports. Most of the people that are in hospitals or dying or died are not vaccinated. It's not a vaccine like it's armor. It armors you up. It gives you like shields, like the Starship Enterprise has against disaster. But it's very interesting about how our divisive political climate has affected all of that. And
well, that's something I want to end. I want to let go of that. I want that to be resolved and for us to go along with stuff that we also need to take care of. There's additional things that we need to take care of in this country and worldwide. And it feels like, a lot of that stuff has come to a halt because we can't seem to move forward.
No, I mean, I think that's, if I hope for anything for the year, is that we need to put away our political differences and start moving forward as all Americans. Like, why don't we solve our problems now and worry about re-election and who's in power later? Because we're paralyzed.
Yes.
We're paralyzed from actually accomplishing anything, and we need to be rebuilding our infrastructure. We need to be updating our data systems, and we need to be modernizing our military, and we need to be bettering our education system. I mean, these are things that are just, like I've always said, we need a healthy and intelligent, a healthy and informed population, and we got to make that a national security issue.
We do, and we also need to put more money towards the arts.
Absolutely. I mean,
because look at how we've relied on it during this time, Robert.
Absolutely. We're getting clobbered on the world stage, and we're getting clobbered because we're not being metal enough. And I think getting metal is, we got to put on a fucking show. How many bands have hated each other, but they still went out and shredded night after night. They played together. Did Van Halen love David Lee Roth? Probably not, but they got out, and they made their albums. We need to start doing that. We need to start putting our differences aside. This is look, we can still hate each other, but we got to go to work and do the job, and we got to get things done. And it's things that we need to prevent, because look, when you have China out there building hypersonic weapons, and same with the former Soviet Union, and all of these things that are happening, we need to counter, and our division in this country shows us as being weak. It's telling the rest of the world that, America, Alex Detman just became a friend of the channel. Alex, fuck yeah, dude, you're fucking metal, bro, you're fucking metal. Thank you for that, I appreciate that. By the way, we were supposed to have a member call tomorrow. I can't, because I'm recording a Designing Hollywood podcast. Designing Hollywood podcast in the studio, so I have to go out. Okay. So I moved it to Sunday, but I realized we have to meet with a realtor, so I might do it Sunday afternoon. I might have to rejigger it, like maybe do it in the later afternoon if I can. So I just want everyone to know that. But yeah, I mean, I think what would be the most metal thing that we could do is if, we figured out ways to put aside our differences, and because that's metal, man. It is metal to get out there. You get out on stage in front of a stadium full of people, and you might hate your bandmates, but you do the job. You get together and you shred, man. You play that guitar, and or those keyboards, or those drums, or the bass, whatever the hell you play, and you make sure that you put on a show, and then you can hate each other when you're off stage. But it's time. I mean, America needs to start putting on a show for the rest of the world, because we ain't doing it. The rest of the world's looking at us going, what are those Americans doing? Not much. Not much.
Yeah, and, it's very interesting. Of course, one of the things that we talked the most about in 2021 was just sort of I'm not going to say battle, but let's just say the incredible position that streaming services have now as a contender in regards to the presentation of entertainment, the funding of entertainment, and the influence of the types of shows and films that get made worldwide. Now I think that it's a situation where, we have to accept that, they perhaps are maybe even leading in some places production, and talent that's coming up. And I think that they're in a very good position. But I also think that if they didn't exist, if we didn't have these streaming services over the past 2 years, how different would things have been for us entertainment wise? I don't think I can imagine not having those streaming services. What about you, Robert?
Well, I mean, what's really interesting is I love the movie form. I love the 90-minute to 2 hour to 2.5 to 3 hour story. I've loved that my whole life. I've worked in it. I love that paradigm. but unfortunately, major motion picture studios have got out. They're now, movie studios are only producing one thing. They're producing large IP driven spectacle. Nothing else they're making is making a lot of money. It's not breaking through. So streaming services are filling that gap by making the long form serialized dramas, and they're doing a great job. There's a lot of incredible and worldwide. I mean, the fact that we're getting exciting programming. Two of my favorite things I watched last year were from Korea, Squid Game and
Yes.
Hellbound.
Yes.
And there's a lot of great. I was watching Money Heist the other day, and that's Spanish.
Yes.
There's so much great programming now from around the world, and streaming services are also making. I mean, I can't wait that the trailer for season 4, part 1 of Ozark dropped. And I'm a huge Ozark fan. That shit looks dope as fuck. I can't wait to see it. I'm like, yeah. I mean, even like while I'm sad The Expanse, there's only one episode left of The Expanse, and I feel this 6th season has been one long episode. But the 5th episode I thought was great. I thought it was exactly, and I love I won't say what it was, but the end of the episode had these two characters meeting one another really for the first time, and it was great. And it was diversity done right. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that we're living through a golden age of entertainment. I mean, even the trailer today for The Boys season 3, you just watch that pan up on the face of Homelander, and he's smiling for you. And then
favorite character
you see the thin veneer just crack at the end. It was so subtle. I mean, there's so much great stuff going on. And there's a lot of great stuff out there. And what's so interesting is, I look to entertainment to sort of lead the way in terms of where the world is going. And on one hand, even our entertainment domestically is hamstrung by our culture wars. And it's funny, I think even though it's doing well, the new Sex and the City show and Just Like That, have you watched any of it?
I haven't watched it because I know that one of the characters that I love gets that doesn't kind of survive, and that I just can't watch it without him.
It's awful. I mean, it's truly everything that is awful about modern entertainment. And it's sad because a lot of the people that were originally involved with Sex and the City was a breakthrough show. I didn't know what Manolo Blahniks were until I watched Sex and the City. I felt I got an education about the modern woman as much as when I was in Bulgaria with Dave Parker making The Hills Run Red, we went and saw the first Sex and the City movie in a Bulgarian theater.
Right.
And one of the women who worked on the crew, one of the Bulgarian crew members, when the movie was over, she turned to me crying, and she said, "Are women in your country really like that?" And I said, "Well, baby, what can I tell you?" And she goes, I feel sorry for you. You should stay here." And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Did a great job of representing women in cities, but once you leave the city, the sexual experience is quite different. And I did want to mention, Robert, to add to what you were saying. When Sandra Bullock, this article where she talks about how her life has changed because of Netflix as an artist. In 2018 is when she came out with Bird Box, and that was a huge hit.
It's still one of the biggest things that's ever been on Netflix.
Yeah, and
based on a horror novel that I actually have that I read that book before that movie came out.
Oh, well, who would have guessed that would have kind of catapulted the direction of such great horror, and that we have today. I feel like it was one of the forerunners of all of this, and I still like that movie. It still has watchability. It reminds me, it's not exactly the same, but it reminds me of what's the one with oh boy, where they can't make a noise?
A Quiet Place. Yeah,
yes.
It's very similar.
Yeah, and so go ahead.
Well, no, it was interesting that Bird Box came out and then A Quiet Place, the idea of suppressing your senses, like the idea of having to try and survive when you can't see, you can't watch something, or can't hear, or can't make a sound. You can't. I like that. Those are great tropes because they work really, really well. And everybody can relate to them. I remember thinking, you're always looking for the great horror idea. And I was talking to somebody recently about paranormal activity, somebody I
Yes.
might be working with. And the great thing about paranormal activity is from the time we're kids, it's like, please shut the closet door to keep the monsters. Well, what if there really were monsters in your closet? And
Right.
that one image of just the video camera. Well, let me set up a video camera in my bedroom. The time when you're the most vulnerable, you're asleep. Everybody has to sleep. Like an invasion of the body snatchers. Well, you can't not sleep at some point. They're going to get you. And of course, you watch the tape, and then in the middle of the night, your closet door opens. I mean, that one image. It's just, come
Mhm.
on. I mean, that's the creepiest shit ever.
And it
And
is also an example of, where you don't actually see the horror. You don't see it, but it's scary enough to terrify you, which is some of the best, types of films for me. I don't need to see scary things. I just have to be thought that there's one there, and it's good enough for me.
yeah.
So,
By the way, Alex Stetman, who just became a member, says, "Hey RMB, and I told you on Facebook I would be coming through as an official member of this awesome community, and I look forward to talking soon, brother." Well, thank you, Alex. Welcome to the community. Just so you know, being a new member, we do have member chats every other week, and we were supposed to do it tomorrow, but I keep forgetting all this work that I have to do. I'm totally overextended, so I apologize for that. But yes,
well,
they're fun chats, and I wish everybody who's a member of the channel, you can become a member for $1 a month. It's not like you have to pay a lot of money. And
mhm.
our next fellow guest is here, and I'm going to put him in the chat
And Robert,
soon.
I have to wonder, if things change tomorrow, if, this pandemic, this is 2022 is the year where the pandemic uh, goes away, let's say,
Mm.
will Hollywood take a more dominant position in what we've been talking about, or will the streaming services continue to get a greater holding in production wise? What do you
Well,
think?
I'm going to answer that question, but I'm going to answer it after one of the coolest cats I know joins us live, Mr. Lael Rockwell, 1/6 scale man, but he's a giant in my book. First of all, Lael, before I get into this, let me ask
Yes.
you, how is your mom?
She's doing pretty good, man. She they wanted to keep her down, at the hospital basically just to kind of monitor everything to make sure that she's okay. The good thing about all of this is the simple fact that, she is vaccinated. So she did, get vaccinated, and that's one of the things that actually helped her. The one thing that I discovered about this whole thing, and me myself being fully vaccinated, even with the booster itself, is that it's a different side of this whole thing that I've seen that I've never really noticed or really thought about before, and that's the simple fact that no matter if you're vaccinated or not, the game, the awareness, but then also the blame game, what meaning that people blame themselves for what occurred, knowing that it could be anyone, but the guilt on everyone who feels as though they might have been responsible. Those who are vaccinated, those who aren't vaccinated, they're questioning themselves, and the self awareness, and also just the love for family, but also just that part of it where you don't really think about, well, could it have been me? Could it have been another person? Even though you're vaccinated, could you've been one of those people who
Because you can
have
carry it.
brought exactly, you could still be a carrier if
Yeah,
you're fully vaccinated and not really knowing whether or not it was you or whatever. Like the whole this whole ordeal has just been crazy. My daughter calling me and she's, highly upset thinking that it might have been her. And the thing is, my sister, my oldest sister, she has COVID. Like she has it, and she's been living with my mother because she's been helping with everything and making sure everything's okay, but she contracted it. So of course but now mind you, they are distance apart within a home. It's a big home, so they're basically separated. My sister's completely quarantined, but no one knows who it could have actually been.
sure.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those situations where it's the whole awareness of the situation, but then also the possible guilt of thinking it could have been you, but not really knowing. And that's why one of the biggest things that I wanted to stress here is that whether you're vaccinated or you choose to be vaccinated, if you're vaccinated, that's fine. But for those who aren't vaccinated, if you choose not to be, that's completely understandable. It is your choice. You do have a choice, and I'm not here to tell everybody go get it. It's your choice, but do understand the lives that it does affect and the choices that you do basically make. Whether or not, okay, if you choose not to do it, just be aware of the individuals who you're around and just be safe. Just play it safe, mask up regardless wherever you're at. If you know that it's going to be a huge function, maybe not, or reconsider, knowing that you're not really vaccinated. The chances of you getting it are extremely high. You passing it are extremely high. Even if you don't really have symptoms, just be safe and also aware that it's not just about you, but it's about the people and the lives around you that you affect. So just be careful with that. My mother right now, she's stable. She's talkative right now. They're making sure that her oxygen levels are up. She doesn't have like the known symptoms such as the loss of taste, the loss of smell. She doesn't have a fever. So she's not, the only thing that she was experiencing so far is not being able to keep anything down. And then also just her oxygen levels were a tad bit low.
Mm.
And because my mother has issues with her kidneys, they want to make sure that, it's not affecting that, she's completely hydrated and stuff like that. So it's been an ordeal, man. Like, I mean, I've been, back and forth spending as much time as with her as possible. I've been, with her, last night when it happened, I was with her for several hours. And then today I stayed down there with her for like 5 hours until it was time to go. But yeah, it's been an ordeal.
Well,
I appreciate the love from everybody, man.
I got Bob Dylan reached out to me and told me, because I didn't know, and then I reached out to you, because I could have, if you needed to, DoorDash you food or whatever,
Appreciate
even from a
that,
distance.
Man.
But it's the least anybody can do. But it's an interesting thing because, I feel also that I feel that I was listening to a doctor today on NPR. It was, and he was frustrated because of the different kind of all of the misinformation, and basically in his case he was talking about the fact that their hospitals, that someone came in for it wasn't a stroke, it was I forget what it was, something that had nothing to do, it was not COVID related. And it was something that normally would be easily taken care of, but they had no place in the hospital to put this person. And this person ended up dying. Tried to go to another hospital, and in trying to get the care they needed, they couldn't. And so they passed away. And the doctor was incredibly frustrated that, there are people that are most of the people that he's dealing with now were unvaccinated in the hospital, that are hospitalized, and it frustrates him that we have the tools to. You can't. It doesn't. It's like some vaccines stop you. This isn't that kind of a vaccine. You can still carry it. You can still catch it, but it's like armor. It's like shields. You won't necessarily die from it. And there are a lot of people now that are going to hospitals for other ailments that are not COVID related. They go into the hospital and they find out they have COVID. They didn't know it. And it's the combination of those things that become lethal. But this doctor was just frustrated. And, it was a lot of misinformation and things like that. But that aside, it's going through all this is so, I mean, look, I think if someone said tomorrow that, I don't know if you've seen the movie Don't Look Up. Now, I didn't think Don't Look Up was a particularly great film. I thought it was a little obvious. It was not the movie like Network or like Doctor Strangelove. It was not, but still, I thought it was really heavy-handed and obvious. But it was still. But the funny thing about it is, what I think is really sort of strange, and one of the reasons I like the Matrix Resurrections a lot more than a lot of people did, was because the idea that when the first Matrix came out, we could all agree on what was truth. There were no flat earthers. I mean, maybe there were a few, but there were no flat earthers when the Matrix came out.
Yeah.
There was no Pizzagate or no QAnon or no, you believe that something bad is happening in a pizza parlor in the basement. When you find out that the pizza parlor doesn't have a basement, maybe you can say perhaps what we've learned about this place is wrong.
Exactly.
Like with if you're a flat earther, you can go get a hobby kit. You can get yourself a balloon, and you can get yourself a GoPro camera, and you can launch a balloon literally into the edge of orbit you can do that yourself. People do it on YouTube. You can see the curvature of the earth. But we have people that want to believe. And what I liked about the Matrix Resurrections is that people no longer have to live in a world of truth. They can live in their own truths. And when you when you're living in your own truth, when an asteroid or a comet is going to hit the Earth, whether you believe it or not, it's going to hit the Earth. How is it that we're going to address these issues when we can't even agree on what truth is?
Exactly.
And I think that I think that's affecting all of us. I think that's affecting our world. And I would like to see in 2022, if I could ask for anything, it's that let's get back to the ideas of common sense.
That's it. What you're saying is completely right. This getting back to, because the thing is it's a whole bunch of conspirators, people who have these conspiracy theories, people who, are working off of, I mean, this whole concept and the information that's provided, again, it's tossed around like Chinese whispers, and then people make their own assumptions and their own, theses about this type of situation, without really, I mean, look, these doctors and these scientists and these individuals who studied these things for a while don't think that, the preparation for something like this just started with COVID. This has been going for a while. This has been going on for a long time.
mRNA things. I mean, we've had SARS, we had MERS. I mean, these things have gone on for a long time.
Excuse me, Robert, can you please make Tom Jr. Jackson a wrench tonight? Because we need him to be a mod, and he's not showing up as a mod.
Oh.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it'll get politicized.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't really I want to because like I said, I don't want to deep dive and make this show just completely political. So I know people have their views, you know what I mean. And I'm just, one of the biggest things that I want to say though, really really quick, is that this community is amazing. Like literally once the news hit and I got the news about my mother, I got so many messages from people in this community, from the collecting community, from just messaging saying, I hope your mother gets well. Prayers are with you and your family. Hey, Lael, I hope everything is cool. You guys messaged me. It was just an abundance of love that I got, from the community. And that really shows that, people really, really do care. And that pretty much within this community, we show that there's hope for humanity, that humanity is the power of love and just togetherness, and instead of divisiveness, we come together. It shows in this community, and we can, like, literally, you can touch somebody. It doesn't, like, you don't have to change one person. You can't change the world, but if you touch one individual and you pay it forward, it speaks volumes. So shout out to everybody who sent their condolences, their not condolences, but their love, and prayers and stuff like that. It definitely helped. And watching you guys live streams and stuff like that with my mom, I was watching her. She was in the room with me while we were watching the John Campea show with you and Rob, and I was like, that's Robert Meyer Burnett. She was like, oh, okay. So you know what I mean. So basically, like, it was just such a pleasure just to kind of just to share, just to feel the love from the community. So, and that is strengthening. And she is showing. I mean, she's a strong woman. We were talking about some of her favorite movies. We actually sat in the room today and watched one of her favorite movies today, which was Tombstone.
Tombstone's rules.
Bro, we watched that, like, we were going through it, and she's like, and then she was like, look, well, that, listen, no one can, when we had this conversation back and forth, she was like, what, listen, he's a good Wyatt Earp. I'll say that, but there's so many other individuals who've played Wyatt Earp, and that's like one of her favorite characters and stuff like. And she's a huge Kevin Costner fan. Like, she's huge.
Does she like the Wyatt Earp movie?
Exactly, bro. She's a huge Kevin Costner fan, so she definitely loved the White Earth movie. But yeah, it was just like just talking to moms and just having like that fun and back and forth, even like under her conditions and stuff like that. I mean, it was just good. So she's pulling through. Thank you for the community, but just be safe. My biggest thing is for everybody: be safe and just make sure that you think about your loved one, think about your friends, and just make sure that they're safe because this thing is not going anywhere anytime soon. So just
Yeah.
that.
By the way, our man Sonny Dominguez, who I've actually met in person, I really like Sonny. He's great. Sonny says, we've fallen behind in creating bold art. But could it
Yes.
be due to our self-censorship? Joe Rogan interviewed with Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Malone, R.E., mass formation psychosis, discusses how tribalism now makes people afraid to truly express themselves and their opinions.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I think we're definitely there. You
Well,
know,
Robert, before we got onto this topic,
oh, you
I
asked
was
me a question
asking
I
you,
didn't answer.
yeah, I just wanted to get your opinion about it because what I'm curious about is, and we're talking about what we're looking forward to
Yeah,
2022,
yeah.
and of course, we are going to address what Sonny Dominguez is talking about because it has to do with a bit of this as well. Is when it comes to entertainment and the hold that these streaming services have on entertainment. Once the pandemic or whatever this is, whatever hold this is on the entertainment industry has dissipated, which I imagine it will, are the studios going to take a stronger position in productions, or are they going to be continue to be under this pressure of tribalism, and perhaps the streaming services or whatever other services will continue their dominance in a lot of the productions we see?
Well, I think the problem with the studios now is what's happened is the motion picture studios expect to spend $150 million and make $1 billion, which is a completely ridiculous economic model that they've wound up. They did it to themselves. I mean, when you think about some of the great movies of all time that have come out, and they were all studio movies. If you think about the studio movies of the 80s, talk about the first Matrix. The first Matrix was a movie that was made for $65 million in 98. And even then, it was not cheap, and they took a chance. But look what you got for $65 million. You got something totally unique, came out of nowhere. This pastiche of various genre things and science fiction ideas, philosophical ideas, Japanese anime, and you got something amazing. Back to the Future, Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, produced by Steven Spielberg. I mean, these were big studio movies. They were also original visions. Well, now a studio can't make a movie for $35 million or $65 million that's original because, one, the people that run the studios can't take that risk, because if they make something like that and it fails, well, who's going to go see it? And then the people that are going to movies, what is the most successful movie we've had in the era of the pandemic and one of the most successful movies of all time now? Spider-Man No Way Home. The studios look at that, and not only was it familiar because you're an MCU fan, but they dipped back outside the MCU and they were able to get, if you're a fan of, if you grew up with Tobey Maguire, which is now, the Spider-Man 1 came out in 2002. So it was a genius thing. But I think that we're now locked into this weird cycle for the studios of they can only make movies of previous IP, and the thing is, they're running out of previous IP that can sustain, if you spend $150 million, that it's going to make enough money to justify its existence. And like I did a YouTube show about even Star Trek. The J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies did not earn out. People go, well, Rob, they Star Trek '09 made $500 million. Well, it didn't, but it cost $175 million. And a movie has to gross 3 times what it costs to even break even. And even an IP, first of all, a Star Trek movie should never have cost that much money. That was their first mistake. Star Trek has never made that kind of money, and it's never traveled foreign. So when you're looking at Star Trek as an IP, Star Trek's never going to travel in China. You know, Star Trek has never done particularly well in Asian countries. Star Trek does well in the United States, the UK, and Germany. Those are the biggest markets for Star Trek. There are other markets as well, but those three, the Germans love Star Trek, the British love Star Trek, the Americans love Star Trek. Because it's basically about John F. Kennedy's America goes to space. I mean, that's what, and so what are we going to do? How do we create, I mean, look at Squid Game. Something like Squid Game, which is a product of a foreign country that is steeped in that foreign country's interests, captures the imaginations of the United States. And I'm sure everybody is going to be looking at Squid Game and think, well, how can we reproduce that success? No one's going to stop and go, you know what? We can't, because we're not Korean. It was the unique blend of the Korean sensibility and the rise of the last 20 years of incredible filmmaking in that country. I mean, Korea has become, Korean filmmaking has become so vibrant and so interesting over the last 20 years that we as Americans, like, we have to figure out the analytics of what made this so great. I would say what made it great is that it was Korean. You can look at all the elements and think, oh, we can recreate that. I'm like, no, not really. Not really, because, you know, in America, we're like, well, you can't say we're not even basing our storytelling anymore on storytelling. It's like, well, we have to have proper representation. We have to, all the things that the studios are looking at now are not about telling stories. They're about making sure that we're virtue signaling.
You're checking the boxes.
You're checking, and that isn't a story.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you have to ask yourself, what is a story? A story is a tale of something that happened to another human being that you are telling to convey basic human truths to other people. And it doesn't matter. It's so weird now that people, like, I'll watch a movie. I remember my mother took me to see in the, like, I want to say 79, this movie that Sally Field starred in called Norma Ray, which she was unionizing. It was about unionizing and unionizing workers. I'm not a woman. I wasn't working. I was a kid. You know, I never experienced. I love that movie. You know, I thought it was great. I didn't have to be a woman to identify with Norma Ray, with Sally Field. Like, you know, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I didn't have to be a black man who was emancipated, who wound up getting caught in the South and becoming living 12 years as a slave. But I can watch that movie and I can be like, holy shit, and completely identify with that character.
Exactly.
And now we live in a world, the great stories allow an audience to identify with any protagonist.
Exactly.
And now we live in this world where people want to see them. Like, I never wanted to, I didn't even, when I was a kid, I didn't like movies about other kids. I wanted to see movies about people that I wasn't.
Yeah.
like
something totally different.
Something totally different. Like, I'm like, show me something, somebody I don't know, you know? So,
and you know what? One movie that I always tell people, that prime example of good storytelling beyond the message. It's good storytelling that you probably not missed the message, but didn't even recognize what it was really about. Years ago, me and my mom, when I was young, we would actually watch 9 to 5.
Dude, that movie's great.
That movie's phenomenal. It is, and it stands the test of time because it
Lily
was
Tomlin,
women,
Dolly Parton, and Jane Fonda versus Dabney Coleman.
Exactly. And it was incredible because it was great storytelling, and it was the way it was done, how it was constructed, and their way of getting back. But because of the storytelling, not hid, but the message was at the forefront, but it wasn't so blatant. You know what I mean? It wasn't a blatant, direct, agenda-focused type of situation. It was just saying that it's there, this is recognizable, and this is what we're speaking to, but we're going to tell a great story, a grounded story that everybody can feel they're included in, and they can enjoy it. And you won't miss the message because it's there, but it's just that the story itself just binds people because you dive in. Now, I just think that the way things are now, it's like put it this way, and I was talking. I kind of, me and my mother, we were talking about this. Me and like even Toya were talking about this. Films now, I don't need another person to write a film about slavery. I don't.
Right.
I really don't. Like I really don't. I don't need to hear that story told again. Like I mean, we've seen that so many times. I get it. I get what you're basically saying. Yes, there was a time that there. Yes, I get that. But now let's move to the next phase. Let's do something completely different where it isn't agenda focused. I think now it's just one of those situations where it's like we said in the very beginning, boxes have to be checked in order to appease the crowd and everyone who's watching in order for us to tell a story. It has to be out there instead of just mainly saying, okay, let's just focus on making a good film.
You know what? Simple. I got to tell you, I was going to send you this both. There's an article.
Sorry.
Oh, let me just say, there's an article in the New Yorker this week called "The Case Against the Trauma Plot," and it's a great piece about that people, by delving into that, I think it makes people feel, or writers feel somehow, well, let's talk about, we all have trauma, so let's base a story in that. And like you said, do we have to do that? I mean, 9 to 5 is about trauma. It's about women that were being victimized in the workplace by a tyrannical boss who was sexist and misogynistic and all of those things. And yet the film is a comedy and it's a revenge fantasy and it's got all of these things in it and it's wildly entertaining, but this message is there. It's still there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. So are we expecting to see, I mean, I would hope that after what we've experienced with films that have not truly given us anything other than, a message that may not be a popular one or one that's misguided as an art form, do you think that we'll be seeing more films that like 9 to 5, films like Tootsie in 2022? Because I don't want to imagine a future, and I know I've heard people say this over and over again about how this film wouldn't be made today, but I don't want to think that way. I just want to have a future now for 2022 where we're going to say, let's go ahead and hope that we can get more films like those films that we love, like 9 to 5 or Tootsie, films that made us laugh and cry and kind of look at the way our lives are. I'm hoping that we get more stuff like this in 2022, whether it's from the studio, whether it's an independent film, or whether it's from the streaming services. What do you both think?
I think, you know what, honestly, and I'm glad you mentioned that just now. Studios have to be willing to take risks again. Like literally. They have to be willing to take those risks and make those particular films without feeling as though they have to check off those boxes.
But the studios have they're in a corner. They can't do that because they can't even make movies anymore that have, I mean, the one thing about all of the fictional universes, whether it's the Harry Potter universe or the Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars or the Mission Impossible movies, the studios each have their own franchises and they can barely move out of those because they're part of publicly held companies, and the way the business has changed. They're going to spend $150 or $200 million on a movie. They need to make $850 million, and everyone's shooting for that $1 billion grosser. And the problem with that is there's a very narrow window of movies that can do that. Whereas all the movies, 9 to 5 was a big 20th Century Fox movie.
Yeah.
That was a huge, and that's what the studios used to make. The studios used to make all kinds of movies. I mean, I miss the heady days of Paramount thrillers. I mean, in 1987, they would make something like Fatal Attraction, and in 1990, they made The Hunt for Red October. They were really good at doing thrillers, and they would also make movies like Flashdance and Flashdance and Footloose. Those were Paramount movies. And they were cultural zeitgeist movies. I mean, Flashdance and Footloose were huge. Grease, Saturday Night Fever, those were Paramount movies. They were huge.
Rob, let me ask you a question. Do you think, I mean, and not even, I know probably what your answer is going to be, but you think that mainly because now I noticed that the conversation, even not just amongst studios, but even amongst us as viewers and people who watch, the moviegoers, the fans, we're so worried about these films crossing over to like the $500,000 mark or $1 billion mark. We're worried about the number aspect of it. And because we're worried about that, it forces the hands of these studios to also not forces the hand, but because they're probably already there, but it becomes that conversation of what's going to be the biggest box office draw, instead of being what's a good story? What movie tells a good story? What's the most enjoyable film beyond just the residual gain?
Well, I think the problem has become the studios are expected to generate a certain amount of income. They're all publicly held companies, and they're all beholden to their shareholders, and they're all expected. The movie studios cannot make mid-level movies anymore. They can't make a movie that's cost $30 million, even though they don't know how anymore to make a $30 million movie. But if they did, if they made a $30 million movie that grossed $200 million, that used to be that's great. That's great. Now we live in a world where a studio is expected to spend $200 million. And so the movies that are going to cost that much money, and it has been a proven formula that the giant IPs are the ones that make the most money. So they don't even have an option anymore of making movies that are interesting. And then the problem is that independent movies, like if Tarantino was trying to make Pulp Fiction today, and it was say Quentin Tarantino had made Reservoir Dogs, there would be the reason why we're never going to see any more Quentin Tarantinos is because Quentin Tarantino went from making Reservoir Dogs to making Pulp Fiction to making Jackie Brown. He would never be allowed to have a career. Reservoir Dogs would never become a cause celeb at Sundance. Sundance is over. They're going virtual. Independent cinema does not matter anymore. It used to have a cultural resonance. It's out. Independent cinema has no relevance to our cultural conversation anymore. Zero. And I think about when I moved to LA and was just when I was in college, and the independent Steven Soderbergh making Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Spike Lee making She's Gotta Have It, and all of these great transcendent breakthrough indie movies. Never going to happen again. Never going to happen again, because the movie going audience, when I was in college, I'm like, what breakthrough independent movie? We would all go out and go see Sex, Lies, and Videotape and be like, oh my God, and we'd talk about it. No one gives a fuck now. Our audiences, our youth audiences, they don't care about any of that. I was watching some rando reaction video that some girl had to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And she's like, well, I understand the Karen Allen, Marion Ravenwood. She's just a series of tropes. And I'm like, what? This is the problem. Tropes. Tropes, you're analyzing. How about did you watch the fucking movie? These people are doing these reaction videos. They're watching movies now, and they're doing reaction. It's the first time I'm watching The Exorcist. Like, watch the goddamn movie. Worry less about your viewers on YouTube. Watch the movie, and then come back and take us through an analysis of the film after you've watched it.
So, Robert, you don't think that after seeing things like Squid Game and some other films that the streaming services are making, Squid Game took 10 years to get from, the screenplay to the screen. You don't think that we're going to see more things like that are kind of, outside of the box? I mean, I would hope that this year, 2022, brings us to a point where people are demanding more things that are outside of the box. And maybe that avant-garde and those auteurs who want to make films will now go in that direction.
I think they will. I mean, you're having filmmakers like Olivia Wilde. I think she's got her new movie is called Don't Worry, Darling. And she made Booksmart. And I thought that was a pretty astonishing debut. It didn't make any money, but she comes on the scene as a really interesting new female filmmaker. Obviously has a great career as an actress. Don't Worry, Darling is a passion project of hers, but even she has been announced as directing a Marvel project. You know, so she'll make Don't Worry. She's a completely unique, new, interesting voice. She's lucky in that she has a producer and someone like Roy Lee, who was responsible for having the foresight not only to sign up Lego and figure out how to make the Lego movie, but he was the person that first brought the J-horror, like The Ring, Ringu, and The Grudge. He was the person that said, yeah, we're going to bring those over. And because no one, there's people in the studio, the people in America are like, why would you want to do that? But he was like, no. He knew that these were doing really well in Asia, and let's bring them over to America. But the problem is now the studio business, and also the real problem too is exhibition, because of the pandemic and movie theaters and all of that. It's just a different world. And also the big problem, it's not a problem, it's just different, is that youth, which used to drive movie going, you know, whether it was horror films or I'm very curious to see how well Scream does. The new Scream. By all accounts, it's a great movie. And it would used to be a guaranteed big money maker. The Jason Blum has done made a whole career out of putting horror movies in the theaters. Will Scream do well? I'm curious, because people say it's a great movie, but are people going to roll out for that? The fact is that the youth audience, movies are just not that important anymore. Not like they used to be. I mean, I couldn't miss a film. I would see anything and everything. And nowadays it's video games. I think gaming is going to be, I've said this before, the art form of the 21st century. You know, I think we right now, as far as gaming is concerned, we're like where Hollywood was in the 1920s. We're now in the 2020s, when sound came in at the end of the 1920s, with even Steamboat Willie, the Disney cartoon, or Al Jolson as a jazz singer. When sound came in and transformed Hollywood, right in the end of the 20s, I think at the end of this decade, a combination of gaming and virtual reality technology, it's something we don't even have yet. The metaverse, we're going to get something that completely changes our perception of things, and we're going to get a new version of video gaming. I don't know what that is, but it's going to be something where we are going to be living in those virtual worlds, the Ready Player Ones, the Snow Crashes, the Neuromancers, whatever it's going to be, and it's going to change our culture, and it's going to be driven. Look, I'm always going to love movies, but I just think youth, you know, people are watching, whether it's TikTok or they're watching YouTube or they're watching whatever. It's now participatory media. We have a whole generation of kids, people that have grown up with that participatory media. Sitting down and watching a movie is very 20th century.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, I love. Oh, go ahead.
We have a film coming up called Cleopatra that's gotten a lot of buzz recently. You know, everything from the casting of Cleopatra to the director of the film and the producers have all, you know, been talked about. And for a time, it looked like, I believe it was Patty Jenkins who was supposed to be doing this film. And when I first heard that she was doing this film, I thought, at least in my opinion, how lucky she is, because Cleopatra is a person that, you know, everybody on Earth knows who Cleopatra is. And if you make
she's
a version
Elizabeth
of
Taylor, right?
If you have the chance, if you're lucky enough to make a film and it's Cleopatra or one of these epic films, as a director, this is a big deal. Your name will forever be attached to that movie. And, you know, like whenever somebody queries Cleopatra or looks to see a movie version of Cleopatra, your name gets pulled up along that search as well. And so, you know, I personally, you know, was surprised at all the machinations in regards to her doing it and then not doing it. And I really thought that it was quite a loss for her to lose the ability to direct that film, because after all, you know, it's true that she is, you know, going into the Star Wars franchise, or already in Star Wars franchise, getting a number of films there.
Or already out of the Star Wars franchise, because her it looks like her movie was canceled.
Yes, well, Cleopatra is one of those films that I think directors might fight over that, because they want to have that opportunity to do an epic film. So let me ask you this. Are we going to get an epic film out of Cleopatra? Is it going to meet that epic expectation? And who do you think will be the person who will be directing this film? Just, you don't have to know for sure, but I'm just curious. And will people come to see that film, in the way that things are going for 2022 or 2023 when it comes out? What are your thoughts, both of you?
Lael?
Um, it's tough. Like it's really tough because for those of us, I mean, who age gracefully well, we
One
know
can hope.
one can hope, right? So we've gravitated. We know through history the story has been told, and there have been different adaptations of the actual film, different actresses who have taken on that role. Um, but I think what's more present now than it was back then is the awareness again, is the simple fact that it doesn't come without its controversy when it comes to the selection of individuals who portray the character. Back
Yep.
then it was fine, it was good, because we weren't really worried about it. Again, it goes back to what Rob was saying, just tell a good story. Now it's again checking boxes, making sure that the actress that's portraying the character is of its ethnic background. Because if not, then it's going to come with a lot of backlash. People saying, well, why is this person, or America's so white, America's so this, or America's so that, or this, that, and the third. And this is coming from a black man. You know what I mean? Like literally coming from me who, wants to see inclusivity. But I'm more geared towards, look, as long as you tell a good story, then I'm all basically with it. You know what I mean? But I just think that it's going to drown in the simple, not drown so much. And I'm not saying it's not going to be a well-written film. I just think that the obvious right now is that people are going to attack it because of its approach and who's playing the film, what the message is going to be based off of, okay, whether or not, and again, like we saying, is it going to be a box office draw? Is it going to make the money that the studios wanted to make? Are people going to be interested in the film? You and I are interested in it. We may be interested as film goers and film fanatics, film enthusiasts, but just newer generation, will they accept it the way we do? And I don't think they will. That's the problem that we're running into, is like those different roadblocks that we know it'll be a good film, a good attempt, but these are the things that it's going to be measured up against. And that's what I think is kind of sad about it.
Well, look, I would look at it this way. Look, I don't think that a studio can make a Cleopatra movie today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do think a streaming service could make a multi-part Cleopatra story that would be, I have to tell you, Elizabeth was just watching Victoria, about Queen Victoria. It was a masterpiece theater. It was on PBS, but it was made by the BBC. Doctor Who's Jenna Coleman played Victoria, and it was really good. Like, I had no necessarily interest in, but I sat down and it was really well made and well acted, and I became absorbed in that story. And I think a studio, they're going to release a Cleopatra movie, and most people are going to be like, huh? What? Why? You put it on a streaming service and make it 6 parts or 10 parts or whatever. People are going to watch that shit, and then they're going to stream it, and they're going to be engaged. And I think that people we've now been, this is another thing that streaming, we were talking about earlier, streaming has changed the way the serialized cable show like The Sopranos or The Wire or Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy, choose your show, that has supplanted movies as the primary form of adult entertainment. And I think that novelized approach, like one of my favorite things I saw, I think it was in early 2021, I want to say it was The Queen's Gambit. That was based on a novel, Walter Tevis's novel. I loved The Queen's Gambit. And Scott Frank, who wrote and directed it, had previously written and directed Godless for Netflix, a 7-part miniseries. It was based on that true story of the mining town where all the men got killed and the women were left to fend for themselves. I mean, people, I think that kind of entertainment, the studios can't make those movies anymore, but the streamers can. And you've disappeared. You're I don't know why your camera. You look all. You actually look like a cool art project, like somebody would. If somebody did a story, an interview with you about all your latest work, that would be the picture that would look on, like the New York Times. It's getting better though.
Back? Is it better? Is it?
It's better now.
Back? Is it?
It's
Okay, cool.
yeah, it's almost quite.
Wrong.
But I think that all of the movies that studios used to make have now become streaming shows.
Mm-hmm.
And
gentlemen, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I have another question for both of you, of course.
Please.
Ben Affleck has been in the news a lot recently. Of course, he's been a wonderful actor, in my opinion. Although some people have said that he's an even better director. Regardless, he's had a great impact on entertainment. And I still remember the first time I ever saw him in that film he made with I can't remember what it's called, but with Robin Williams. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is
Good Will Hunting.
Yes. And, Ben Affleck has been very honest about his experience. It was his dream to play Batman. And of course, through the years, perhaps it's not something that he feels he wants to do anymore. And we all understand that. What I'm curious about is whether or not you all have seen The Tender Bar, which is a film that Ben Affleck recently starred in, that was streamed. I think it's on Amazon. And do you think he's going to be doing more films like this? And I think he has a really nice feel for starring in films like this. The kind that kind of like fill your soul up, like you get this really good feeling after watching a memoir like The Tender Bar. Or what other projects do you see Ben starring in and pushing in your opinions? What do you think?
Well, I was just watching I can't wait to see The Tender Bar. I haven't seen it yet because it's now finally on Amazon. It was in theaters and it dropped on Amazon. I think it looks wonderful. I mean, my favorite movie of last year is still Tick, Tick, Boom. There was a lot of great movies last year, but it just appealed to me. But the Tender Bar is right up my alley. Elizabeth and I were talking about how great it looks, and we're going to watch that. And it looks great. And look, he's become a world-class filmmaker. I mean, Argo won Best Picture. The Town was great. Gone Baby Gone, I thought was great. I even like what was it? They Lived at Night or whatever. The fourth movie, Live by Night. I really that was a beautiful movie. It wasn't perfect, but it was beautifully done. He's a world-class filmmaker. And in the article that everybody was talking about this week, because he was talking about what he loved being in The Flash. He loved playing Batman, and he felt that Batman got a
good closure.
Yeah, here's what I find strange about the modern age, and I've been a fan. I've been in fan circles my whole life, literally since I was like 5. There's all this talk about, but we have to revive the Snyder Cut, and I find it strange that Zack Snyder's Justice League is continuing on. Ezra Miller's getting his Flash movie. Aquaman, Jason Momoa is getting his second Aquaman movie. And we've got Ben Affleck playing Batman in the Flash movie. So while we might not be getting another Justice League movie from Zack Snyder, he cast all those actors. So the idea that those actors have continued to go on and play those characters is a huge tip of the hat to Zack Snyder. He clearly knew when he cast Batman v Superman and cast Affleck as Batman and cast Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Momoa as Aquaman, Ezra Miller as Flash. He knew what he was doing, and those characters have resonated. Ezra Miller's Flash was in the fucking CW crossover, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And now he's getting his own movie with Ben Affleck, and so I think that Zack Snyder, I wouldn't go back to Warner Brothers and work with them again. If I were him, he's got his own thing going. He's going to go make Rebel Moon for Netflix. He's done his Army of Darkness, Army of the Dead movie, and then the spinoff about the German thief. So he's got his own thing going with people that really appreciate him. And it's very funny that fandom is like, look, there are a lot of people that criticize me by saying, because I said there's no way that the Snyder Cut is ever going to be finished. I said that because the economics weren't there. But when HBO Max came into existence, I was one of the first people that said, now there's an entity that might pay for that. They might pay for the Snyder Cut. And before it was announced, I even did a YouTube show about it. I said, now you've got an economic engine that has a reason to do something. And I have to say, to be honest, I loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love the Snyder Cut. I love the imagery in it. And it was 4 hours long. I could have watched it for 2 more hours. I thought it was very operatic, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I think that I have to say that superhero movies were never my favorite movies. I liked movies that, as a matter of fact, when I talked about my 10 most eagerly awaited movies on the John Campy show this week, I specifically I took the superheroes out of that list. I love superhero movies, but to me, I'm more interested in seeing, films about the human condition. Like, I don't even go back and watch, unless it's Infinity War and Endgame, which I think I could watch forever on an endless loop. But I like movies like, I'll watch Goodfellas or The Godfather, or talk about crime movies. I love New Jack City.
Yeah.
Killing me now. But or Scarface or films that have more resonance to daily life.
Yeah.
And I think that I love my escapist fantasy. I've got hundreds and hundreds of movies in this room that are all of those things, but they're not my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Leo, what do you think?
Well, let's just say that my most anticipated film of the year right now is Nope. Like, literally.
Dude,
Nope.
I can't. What the fuck is that movie about? I can't wait.
That's one of the reasons why it's my most anticipated, because
tell people what that is.
Nope.
Well, it's Jordan Peele. It's his follow-up to Get Out and Us.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that's what we can actually look at. But that's when we think of Jordan Peele, that's where our hope lies, in someone who can make a film that has nothing to do with a franchise, that has nothing to do with what Hollywood thinks that we should make. He's just taking risks, writing his own films. If it has a message, okay, so be it. But it's the enjoyment in a well-written story. That is what gives me hope. It's because he has the space to do so. He's created that space where he's saying, okay, dare me to make a good film, dare me to make something that goes against the status quo. Here you go. And I'm not even going to tell you what the fuck it is right now. I'm just going to basically tell you, wait, when you see it, you're going to enjoy it, but just the hype. And the thing is, there's really no hype around it right now. People just know it's a film coming out, but they just don't know what it's about. And that's the enticement. That's, for me, it is.
Okay, I have to say, that this is a theory I'm going to throw out to you. Like, I've talked in the past about my favorite movie-going experience of all time was going to see Friday the 13th 3D with a predominantly black audience. It was the greatest thing. And to me, the first thing somebody would say in a movie like Friday the 13th would just be like, nope, I ain't going in there. Nope. And I'm hoping that that's what it is. And I can't convey. I saw it at the Town Theater in downtown Seattle. It was the single great, and we've talked about it before. I mean, I've talked about it, but I never understood, like, why do black audiences talk back at movies? And I didn't get it until I was in college and went to a Southern Baptist church.
Yeah.
And it was the callback. It was the preacher and the audience, the congregation. It was that callback. And you go to a white Catholic church or a synagogue, no one says shit. They just sit there. But you go to a Southern Baptist church, it blows the roof off the house.
The response.
I never understood that until I was in college. I'm like, I'm not going to see a slasher movie unless it was a predominantly black audience. But I wondered, like, I never understood, where was the disconnect? Where was the difference? It was church.
Yeah.
It was the way, it was the whole culture of church. And when I realized that, I was like, that's the greatest thing ever. I mean, I love that, and I'm hoping that Nope. Now, I don't know how he's going to do it. But I think he's made a horror film that encapsulates what a great preacher does, what a man who's channeling the Spirit, channeling the Lord, or a woman, or a chorus or a choir that is channeling the Lord, when they can get that congregation up on their feet, blow the roof off that church. I'm hoping that's what Jordan Peele's doing in his new movie.
What he's doing with this, like, and to answer, you know what? To answer your question though, like, I think one of the biggest things about here's my thing is and I want to go back to what Rob was saying about Cleopatra. I would definitely much rather see that film. I want to see it, the success, but I do think the success for it would be more valid if it was on a streaming service and told in parts where people can actually enjoy it more and it's not forgettable. You know what I mean? Because I don't think this film needs to basically be forgettable. There's history behind it, rich history behind it, but there is a story to basically be told. And this is the thing, is like, you know, we have these ideas. Rob, I remember, like, it was about maybe 2 years ago that I was watching you in the Campia show, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, when you were talking about films that you know, original ideas versus franchise films, you know, films that are original, and why these original films aren't seeing the light of day. Like, why is the simple fact that, and it's because, again, that the film goers won't go see these original films and give them a chance, because now we've been programmed to stick towards these big franchise tentpoles. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how is it, or is the days of independent storytelling gone? Or is it the simple fact that it has its place, but, you know, now that, you know, COVID has subjected us to now just more towards, or geared towards, streaming services where we can actually sit down within the home and watch these particular films. Do you think that is what's hurting these original, because, well, and the thing is, we do see original storytelling on streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that.
Not only are we seeing it, we expect it.
Yeah.
That's the difference, is that streaming services have positioned themselves that they're going to show us something new and unique. Whereas movies are like, here's the real problem too. No one knows, like Cleopatra does not have a pop culture imprint anymore. You know, when Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, with their tempestuous love affair, were making Cleopatra, it almost bankrupted Fox. They had to sell off half their backlot that became Century City here in LA. One of the great, for those of you who might be interested, one of the great Hollywood stories is the making of Cleopatra that Joseph Mankiewicz, one of my favorite directors, made. There's an incredible documentary, I think Kevin Burns directed it, about the making of Cleopatra, which is almost as interesting as the story of Cleopatra herself. It's really amazing. The movie itself is a little, let's call it, overblown, but I own it. You can't not own Cleopatra and be a film fan, but that documentary is incredible. And I just think that, you know, Cleopatra is such a compelling story, and she's such a compelling historical figure. But nowadays, I feel that one of the big problems is that we used to have a pop culture knowledge, our general education, especially here in the United States. You would know who Cleopatra was. I don't think people know who she is anymore. I think that our educational system in this, I did. You look very Cleopatra-esque tonight.
She does look very Cleopatra.
You are looking quite. You are looking. That's exactly. Lael is exactly right. That's right. I would make that movie. I would buy. I would buy that movie. I think.
love that.
Right.
I mean, you are looking pretty Cleopatra-esque tonight.
You are.
She called it. Lael called it.
There you go.
But
Well,
I
Robert,
think
do we have any super chats tonight?
we
That
do. We just got a few right now. The Richard says, "Great to see everyone. Aloha nui loa." Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I said, Sonny Stubble McShave says, "Have you experienced the suck fairy?" Well, wait a minute. Not as much as I'd like. Oh, wait. Hang on. I.e., are there any books or movies? Oh, I thought you meant something else. Are there any books or movies that you used to really love all of a sudden mysteriously sucked when you revisited them later on? It seemed to have been visited by the suck fairy and make the thing you loved turn bad. That's a really interesting question. I'll throw that out to the two of you. Were there things that you used to love, and as you've grown older, your perspective changes? Maybe the suck fairy visited them while you weren't looking, and you didn't like them anymore. Is there anything like that for you?
I have to think about this because, God, there's so many things. I can't think of one right now. I mean, not that I can think of. Give me a minute. I have to think about it. I can't think of one that comes to mind.
Well, I mean, I think we could probably say that with previous releases of Hot Toys figures. The Suck Fairy, I used to love this character or love this figure, but now the Suck Fairy came and gave me a new one.
yeah.
By the way, do you have your Boba Fett 2-pack on the way from Toys Wonderland or what?
Man, I paid it off. It's paid off, and I paid the invoice for the shipping. I just haven't gotten the shipping invoice yet. I haven't gotten the DHL invoice yet. So
Nice.
I don't know.
But now let me ask you this question
Yeah.
to you. I mean, the Suck Fairy, were there movies or books or things you liked as, say, a younger man? Not that you're not a young man now, but earlier on that maybe you feel differently about now?
Okay, I'm going to say this, but I know.
Wow, I got to
the
tell
chat is gonna go
you,
nuts.
somehow something happened to your camera just quickly, and it looks
Hold on.
amazing. I love this. I want to do it in a movie. Now it came back, kind of.
It came back. Okay.
You can
hold
click
on,
back
let me-
there. Yeah, now you're back. You're back.
Now I'm back. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if there's the weather just affecting us in this area. Now I'm not really sure, but I want to say this, but I know that the chat is going to go nuts over it. So I'm just trying to preface it a certain way.
As opposed to talking
Yes.
about COVID. Come on, lay it on us, man. Tell us. Don't worry.
Okay,
Just say it.
so everybody knows my love for Star Wars. I'm
No.
sorry.
No. Are you
No,
Are you kidding? No, I'm just kidding.
you know my love for Star Wars, man, and you know how I had a lot riding on the sequel films. And I again, Force Awakens was it was an open door for opportunities that fell through with the next two films. That's just, now, mind you, that's just my opinion. And it put a sour taste in my mouth after watching it. Not basically for the franchise that I love so much, but for the possibilities of where it could go in the future. That's what put a sour taste in my mouth, because I think it's like they almost damn near written themselves out of existence with this last film. You know what I mean? Almost. And that's, again, that was one thing that Suck Fairy came around and said, let me just kind of sprinkle some dust just to let you know, hey, I'm here. But I mean, it's look, what we've gotten from the streaming service were pretty much redemptive. It's a redeeming quality. Opportunities for us to go back and not course correct, but just see certain things from a different point of view and aspect and vantage point.
So I would say
But
J.J. Abrams is the Suck Fairy, and anything he touches just sucks.
You said it, I didn't.
Perhaps that's not fair, because that's not really what Stubble is saying.
Nah.
But
I think that, look, and I don't want to basically put it all on him as an individual. I think that he was, he started something that was good. Disney came through, or they just chose to go a totally different direction. Which, look, we know that from the previous franchise and the previous films, that they did go the route of pulling in different directors to, tackle the film and give, different. But everything was cohesively done then, versus now that they don't really have a path or a clear path or a plan. They didn't have one, which kind of hurt the sequels going forward. And that's, to me was, I would much have rather them take their time and no matter how long it took, make a very cohesive story. But I understand that, look, we spent $4.5 billion on, getting this. We need to make our money fast. So let's just kind of do it now. And that's the mistake I think that was made.
I think though that I when I first got Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates script, it was leaked to me specifically to review online. I really liked that script. And I think that what unfortunately what happened to the Disney movies was Carrie Fisher's death. And while I think that The Last Jedi has problems, it had weird choices that I didn't understand, like a slow chase through space. I mean, it's interesting to me. I think I wish somebody would do a fan re-edit of The Last Jedi where the movie opens on Canto Bight, and that the movie just opens in midstream where you have Rose Tico and you have Finn on a mission, like a James Bond movie, and they're looking for Benicio del Toro in this crazy casino atmosphere, and and you have no idea, like they're on this mission, and like what are they looking for this guy for? Like what's going on, And it would have been really exciting, and it would have we got to get out of here, and what's going to happen, and then they get thrown in jail. Cut to the rebel forces being routed from their thing. And their base, and the whole thing is they need to get to that old rebel base, and instead of whatever, and the problem is they don't have the code to get in. And Benicio del Toro does. Like he's the guy they have to find him because he's the only dude that knows how to open up the old because those people are all dead. So and you could have just altered it and change things around, and there's all the elements are there, and then have Rey try to convince Luke and delve into it's just the way they did it was so weird. Like it
was weird because Benicio del Toro's character had no meaning, like literally
no meaning, and it was that whole there's ideas in The Last Jedi that I really like, but it doesn't work. But all the stuff is there. You just have to rejigger it. And how cool would it have been if you met Rose Tico on a mission with Finn? So you're first meeting her while they're in the shit, like a James Bond movie. Here we go. And how great would it have been to see Finn? He's already fixed up. It doesn't just take place right after the end of your Force Awakens. And then again, when you go back to Achateau, you have Luke and Rey. They're already in their training. They're already talking. They're already having this philosophical debate, and it could have been. And that's the funny thing. When I looked at that film, it seemed so obvious to me as a filmmaker myself. Like you could fix this movie. And I think what's the problem with Star Wars is that, again, you have corporate interests, and they've got to justify their four. Now, let me ask you this. What did you think of the second episode of the Book of Boba Fett?
I loved it.
I did too.
I loved it.
I gotta say, when I saw that Ralph McQuarrie painting that I had when I was 10 years old and had the painting with the thing and the sand people, and I was like, okay. And the fact of the Dances with Wolves business and all that, and then I'm like, I loved that whole thing. I mean, I had so much fun, and what's really interesting to me is I think I have a fun. Did you watch it? Did you watch episode 2 of Book of Boba Fett?
I certainly did, Robert.
And what did you think?
She was in it. Ming Na Wen.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just playing.
Uh, I wish.
Yeah, she turned red. She's blushing.
Well, that would be,
Look at your
that would be
cheeks.
like a dream come
Look
true
at
for
those
me.
cheeks. Yeah, but go ahead.
That would be a dream come true for me. I don't even have to have a talking role. Just like one of those, I would be Max Rebo if they asked me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd be fine with it.
Would you able to do like this with
Yes,
the hands? Get the way
A
he
little-
does, the way he plays
He's so
those keyboards.
squishy. I just
No
wanna-
one's fingers. I mean, I've never seen anyone tickle the keyboard the way Max Rebo does. Come on,
He
now.
really is
Yeah.
something else, he's survived and he's still around and he's getting a lot of airtime, which I love.
Yeah, but
You know-
I gotta. Where's Cy Snoodles? Poor girl.
That's a good question. I don't know where size where I don't know, but somewhere in the galaxy, I'm sure.
Because she was the Aretha Franklin of Tatooine. The way she
was
belted
badass.
Jedi rocks.
Unless for some particular reason she got killed on a sail barge.
Oh, I hope not. I hope she made it off. I have to look it
yeah.
up, but supposedly a lot of them got on a separate barge or skiff that was there, and they made it out. And I was really happy to see Max Rebo again.
And apparently he was able to get his keyboard out too. So come on, someone rescued his ass. Someone got Max Rebo and the Rebo band out, or maybe only half because the Cantina band. That's what is the band? The Cantina band's name is the Modal Nodes. It's what's the name of the first guy and the Modal Nodes? Filgrin Dan and the Mogul Nodes, right?
I mean, to be honest,
To
be honest with you, the fact that we can even talk about this and laugh about this, the enjoyment that we're getting, just even talking about like Max Rebo or some of the elements of the Star Wars universe that we enjoy, just shows you, just the positive energy and how great I feel the Book of Boba Fett series is so far. And what I wanted to say is, it was a much longer episode. And one of the things that I liked about it was that we did see incredible action and we saw a lot of cultural things about the Tusken Raiders, which was beautiful. And I can see how Boba getting involved with the Tusken Raiders and realizing what's at stake for these people. Like, for example, you would have to be completely devoid of any heart and feeling if you weren't affected when you saw that train go by and they were just sniping off the Tusken Raiders.
That poor Bantha too, man. Why you got to kill a Bantha?
And I was like, what kind of thing is this? And of course, their argument is they were defending themselves. I'm like, this is nonsense. You were murdering people. And I think that, it showed how vulnerable they were out there. And I can't wait to find out how the Tusken Raiders are going to be allies for Boba, because he's not just taking over the underworld, is he? The Tusken Raiders have nothing to do with the underworld. They want their planet back, right? Yeah. Guys, they want their planet back. They want to have peace on their planet, and they don't want these people coming in and going across the sand and hurting them and shooting at them. I think that Boba's effect is going to be perhaps providing more peace to the galaxy. Yeah. And in addition to that, maybe having even greater influence than if he became the leader of Mandalore. What he's talking about could be as influential as what the Empire was doing. And I think that maybe that's the direction that this film is going, or story is going, rather than just taking over the underworld. Perhaps one of his other goals is to go even further than that. And so that's what I kind of liked about this episode, is that I'm like, yeah, maybe he's doing something even bigger than, just a crime lord with respect and everything, which I understand. And, I really like that. I like the idea of Boba kind of being the person who's going to say, I'm not going to let these injustices happen in the galaxy anymore. I'm going to make things right for people. And this is just how it's going to be. I have spoken, kind of.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people have expressed their discontent. There's a lot of discontent. Like, I wasn't a fan of the first episode. Because I think that I was surprised at Robert Rodriguez's direction. I felt it was a little lackluster. This I thought was the direction was way better, and the legendary Dean Cundy, who shot John Carpenter's Halloween, who shot Escape from New York, shot this episode. But I liked all of the world building on this, like this speeder. I love the fact that there's apparently a galactic sign language that is now, like, instead of Arabesque, that people can talk and figure stuff out. And I have to say, I've read a lot of really hateful shit about, like, how Boba Fett, he's just an older guy with dentures, and I'm like, okay, come on.
Oh no, he still looks hot. He's still. I'm sure he can.
He and look, I love the fact that he went into a biker bar and kicked the shit out of those guys, and
yes,
and then took a drink and walked out.
And there was the most deep cut Star Wars shit. The scenes that were cut at Anchorhead from the original Star Wars. You got Ku Stark there, Cammy and Fixer or whatever are there, and I mean those are the deepest of Star Wars cuts in that. And I have to say I really enjoyed it. And I love the fact that you have to go out and have a Maori, or not a Maori, an Australian Aboriginal walkabout like the Tusken Raiders, and you have to go into the Dreamtime, the Aboriginal Dreamtime, and get your fucking stick off. You got to get a branch off that tree, which is Aboriginal Dreamtime. I mean, my 8th grade class hated me because I showed Peter Weir's movie The Last Wave, which is about the Aboriginal Dreamtime. They thought it was so boring, and they're like, it took me a year to recover my social status in junior high after that. But I was like, I love that shit. And he comes back, and the Tusken Raiders are there. And I knew when he had that branch, I'm like, that's where a gaffy stick is going to come from.
Stick came from. Yep.
I mean, that shit was dope as fuck.
I think one of the biggest things, and we talked about briefly on the show yesterday, was just interesting, is because the thing is, when people talk about I hate the flashbacks. I hate when there's always constant flashbacks. But in the title, it describes the Book of Boba. He's telling you the story. They're telling you basically where he's been, where he's headed. I appreciate it. Do I think that they're going to continue on with the flashbacks? Do I think it should end at some point? Definitely it should. But I think we're getting to that particular point. But it's also Boba finding himself, finding out his true destiny. And that's what I said when we talked about it yesterday. He said, look, I'm no longer a bounty hunter. We're seeing why he's basically making that statement, why he decided that he no longer wants to be a bounty hunter. And it's because, again, he's, we're in the flashbacks, we're seeing how he's, again, we get those dances with wolves moments, where, he's earned his place within this particular tribe. He's been befriended by them. He has this little kid who looks up to him the same way he did when he looked up to his father. And
I think that's being completely missed.
Yeah, it is. It's being completely missed. One of the things that people need to see is the callbacks to, just his childhood and where he's headed. Now, I think that the destiny that he was given needs to be fulfilled, where he went away, he's come back to Tatooine, not for what we believe was to take over, but to also give the Tusken Raiders, their space, their sacred land, it's indigenous land, and to give them that space to roam freely without being plucked of their resources, everything at that particular point. So, but I believe, again, people think that, okay, Boba Fett's badassery is gone. No, the hell it's not. No, it's not.
By the way, he is such a little. The funny thing about Boba Fett is canonically, which is all you can only say. The only thing canonically about Boba Fett is what you saw on screen. It wasn't that much. Let me tell you. Let me posit a question to you. Boba Fett's armor was never something that it was a hand-me-down from his father. He's not a Mandalorian. He's a clone. He never went through. He doesn't have the Mandalorian code or anything like that. Do you think at the end of this show, Boba Fett is going to have a totally new armor?
Hot toys. I'm just cutting you off to say that real quick. If that happens, Hot Toys.
Oh, of course.
Maybe different paint. Maybe different.
No,
paint.
I think
black
he's
and red that we saw from the Tusken Raiders.
What happened? Oh no! Wait a minute. I don't know. I was having so much fun. Why? Come back, Nikki. Come back. Where'd you guys go? I didn't do that. Lael, where did you go? Where? What happened? Hang on. Let me see what happened. Disconnect and come back. I don't know what happened. Reconnect. By the way, you guys, I don't know what I don't know what happened with that. So I think
I thought you were going to change armor and put some armor on real quick.
no. I think that something like, here's the thing. First of all, how cool is it at first when Hot Toys announced that they were making that Boba Fett 2-pack with Boba Fett in the desert wear.
Yeah.
Yes.
How cool is it that you now get that figure now?
Yes.
Again, Hot Toys, the week that they explained where that outfit came from, and I gotta tell you, I flat out, when they were wrapping him up, I was like getting emotional.
Yeah.
And like when he was making that gaffy stick, and they showed him, and he had it, and I love that action sequence. It was kind of goofy with the speed, but I didn't care. I loved it. It was so much fun.
I have never wanted a Tusken Warrior so much, more than I want it right now, bro.
Dude, you don't just want one. You want all the Tusken Wars. I mean,
and the child.
Come on.
They made the Tusken Warriors cool as shit in these 2 episodes, and bro, literally, I need it. And the thing is, what's incredible about it was, people look. We got to see a heist. We had a chance to basically see a heist on the train. Any type of heist on the train that I could see, I am all in for.
It was better than the heist from Solo.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm a fan of Solo.
I'm a fan of Solo, but this was I mean, bro, like literally, it was what I wanted to actually see. It was badass the entire episode from the beginning till end. And then, come on, are we missing the simple fact that we got the Black Chrysanthemum in this film? I mean, in this show? Are we forgetting that?
Scared me. I mean, I don't know whether I was supposed to be scared of him, but he seemed so strong and menacing. Yes. And, however, it's clear that he was sending Boba and Fennec a message. And I kind of touched on wanting to know what everyone thought he was saying, because he wasn't kind of like, it wasn't a smug message. He was sending him a signal of, I know we've worked together maybe in the past. I don't know whether in the comics, where they have worked together, that's going to be
Dr. Aphra, that whole business was, and those huts were bad. I'm like watching this stuff. You got huts,
yeah.
My
and the
sister,
rumble in their voices, how deep they basically made the voices, and just. Man, the episode was so good, and where it's going next, I am so excited for it.
I want to ask both of you this question about, so we know that there is at stake that Boba wants to kind of give the Tusken Raiders the freedom that they should have had on their own planet, let's say, without being terrorized by everybody who comes on. But what I want to also know is there anything else that Boba has to lose if this doesn't work? Like, let's say this whole thing doesn't work. And I think that might be the key to his in a separate motivation of what he's doing. I don't know for sure, but let's say, things don't work out the way Boba wants. How far do you think he and Fennec are willing to go? Because she's already talking about, well, we can't kill these guys without permission. I mean, do you think Boba's going to be doing something like that when we've heard him say, no, I want this person alive? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I think and we talked about this yesterday. And it was kind of like split, where people believe that the mayor really had his hands in the attempt to assassinate Boba. I don't think that's the case. I think that what he said was true, and that he didn't have a hands in. People automatically assumed that when we saw the twins, that the Hutts were responsible. Now, remember, they were there basically just to reclaim their birthright, what they felt is, Jabba's palace, because, not their birthright, but just by, just sheer ancestry or the relation. They just basically came to reclaim that. It made me feel like they had no idea that there was this assassination on him, because if anything, they could have done it at any given time and not
Yeah.
showed up. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's a much bigger picture. There's something else at play, and I think the mayor was alluding to that. And there's something else basically behind it, and we will kind of find that out. So I don't think that the Huts are there, but I don't think they're primarily going to be the focus of, all right, do I have to take them out to get to where I need to be? I think there's something else at play that's going to be revealed. We already know there's going to be some special shit happening coming forward, and I cannot wait. But yeah, yeah, I think we just have to wait and let it play out. But I believe there's something else, and you're right. I think that when we see in the great Ming Na Wen, I mean, literally,
She's like 57 years old and hot as fuck.
Bro, how I look at her and I'm like, how is this possible? I mean, how is it possible? I mean, people have to remember that she was.
By the way, do I get canceled? Can I say someone's hot as fuck without getting canceled?
Yeah,
does that make me an old white guy? Oh, the old white guy said a woman was hot as fuck.
Right. No, it's you're
say
fine.
it again. Say she was hot as fit up.
Hottest.
She was hot as fuck.
Yeah, she was hot as fuck. And how I'm so happy that Hot Toys is making her.
Yeah, yes.
3
by chance. I've ordered 3.
It's a beautiful figure. She's a beautiful. It's just so beautifully done.
Yeah. By the way, and she's a huge geek.
Yes,
and I keep thinking about she's got to be stoked. She's going to be a Hot Toys figure.
Oh my God! Did you see that she basically posted it on her Instagram page?
Oh, she did?
Yeah. If you go to her Instagram page, she posted it, and she was like, "This is incredible!" Like literally,
I love it.
She already, bro. She is a huge Star Wars fan. A huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
So she already said that this is the opportunity of a lifetime for her. So, but in respect to the character itself, we see how she's like, okay, I see Boba. If it was left up to her, she would have slaughtered some folks already. Like literally, she would have.
Well, they need to give her. She needs her badass moment. They got to give her a badass moment.
Yeah, and I think it's coming. It's
because
Fennec
Shand is a great name.
Oh my God!
And
yes,
I want her to shine.
Yeah, and she's going to basically get that shine. I think that's coming for, and that's what it's, and I think it's getting to that point. The first 2 episodes, and I think it was to kind of flesh out where we knew Boba came from. That's behind some of the choices that he's actually made. But going forward, we're about to see some things change. I know that we don't want to constantly see him rely on the Bacta tank to give us the revelation and the background of his story. We want to move away from that, and I think we're getting to that particular point because look, we now see him in the garb. We see that he got his gaffy stick, so they're going to flash forward from then, and I think we're going to get what we've basically been waiting for. So I can't wait.
By the way, I love the black undershirt or under.
Yes.
It looks great. Like when he that medium shot of him when he's looking up at the huts talking. I love that. By the way, I do have some super chats I want to read.
Yes.
Our friend Sonny Dominguez comes back and says, "Rob, New Order." Yes, I've watched it. Film was a bold yes. I finally opened up my disc. I finally cracked it open. Here it is. And first of all, I love this movie. It's fucked up. It's properly fucked up. And I was, you know what? I was happy how fucked up it was. I hadn't seen a movie like that, and boy, this is, this is.
Lael, have you seen it?
Not yet.
Oh, you need to see it. It's good. By the way, have you seen the trailer for his new movie?
No.
Okay. Tim, from Reservoir Dogs. Why am I drawing a blank? British actor Tim. Not Robbins. Tim.
I know what you're talking about.
Who was in Planet of the Apes.
He also played in. He plays as Abomination too. I forget his name.
Yeah, Abomination. Tim. Somebody, come on in the chat. Tim,
Oh,
it's called Sundown, and it's the same director, and it starts out. It looks really interesting. Everyone says it's great. Anyway, so Sonny Dominguez says, "New Order film was a bold cautionary tale. Agendas became propaganda and are used to tell people what to believe. Dangerous." This is a really good question. He goes on to say, "Where are the punk, pissed off creators whose bold art defies censorship by going underground on the internet?" You know what I think's happened? The bold punk, pissed off creators are making NFTs. The landscape has changed. I don't know if we have punk creators anymore. Everybody, the punks have turned into virtue signalers.
Is the person who made Titan maybe falls into this category, because that certainly
Julia,
was not.
Yeah. Absolutely. And her first film, Raw.
Yes.
You
That
have
was also another one.
a French woman creator who, by the way, is beautiful. Isn't it interesting that she's the most punk rock filmmaker of 2021? Titan was we live in a strange world. The real punk rock creators have to step up because we now live in a world. Can you imagine in this day and age with cancel culture and all the kind of crazy culture wars that go on? Can you imagine a Johnny Rotten or a Sid Vicious rising to cultural prominence today? It would never happen.
exactly.
It's such a weird. It's so weird, Sonny. But you're absolutely right. Chris Nimitz says, "Have you watched Boba Fett? Your thoughts?" Well,
Oh my God.
here we go. Well, we're that's an ongoing discussion. So thank you for suggesting it. AJ,
May I
go
say
ahead.
something? And I'm sorry, gentlemen. In regards to New Order, and I know, Robert, I had mentioned this to you before. Roma, which you both already know, had won Best Picture
Yeah.
a few years ago. It is a foreign language film, and I personally felt that Roma was like a precursor to New Order, especially when it comes to the lead character, the woman who plays the maid.
Yep.
And you could almost see where that was her in 1970, and if you fast forward 20 years. That's her maybe in a more present time where she's older, and then they kind of do this revolt. Do you think that is realistic, Robert, or did you make the connection? What do you think about my theory?
Well, before I'd seen it, you'd already told me about the connection, but I think even if you hadn't, I still think it's a very astute observation that you made. It's totally there, and what's interesting is it's from that same part of the world, and I think. You know what I think is really fascinating about America? We don't really understand how cool Mexico is. Mexico is an incredibly vibrant. All we hear about are the drug cartels and the this or the that, but Mexico is it's an older civilization than we are.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of Mexico is I've always been fascinated by it. I'm a big fan of Mexico, and I think Roma and New Order, they're two very vibrant movies that are, well, maybe New Order doesn't celebrate Mexico, although it's okay. Here's one. This is going to be insane now. Fine. There's a movie that you need to see.
Okay.
It's called We Are the Flesh.
Okay. I'm writing it down.
It's Arrow put it out on Blu-ray.
We Are the Flesh. Yeah.
I have to say it's probably borderline X-rated.
Okay. I like that.
It's a horror movie.
I like that even more.
Yeah, and again, it's a Mexican-made horror film that is, I'm kind of obsessed with it.
Okay.
You need to see it. And oh man, don't know what happened there. Don't know why that happened. What's going on?
Here he comes.
That's so weird. I don't know what that is. There's something has happened. There's a flicker. Something is might be an
Yeah.
internet
Well,
thing.
before I forget, and the reason why I'm bringing this up to both of you is the fact that Roma won the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yep.
And I think that New
Best
Order,
foreign film though.
yes, I think that New Order could have won it as well. But Robert, you're suggesting that because it does not paint things in a perfect light or in a positive light, perhaps that's why it was not nominated for that. I mean,
well, I think that the difference with Roma is it's a memoir.
Mhm.
You know, of being a child, and you know, I recently watched the Frida Kahlo documentary. I mean, a movie with Alfred Molina, and it's great. It's really
Selma
good.
Hayek.
And Selma Hayek
right?
playing Frida Kahlo, and it's really good. Selma Hayek, who's Ajax. I mean, you know, you can be in a movie like Frida and be in Spider-Man: No Way Home and be in Eternals in 1 year. You can do it.
Yes.
But I love Frida, but it also deals with political uprisings, and I think that's very much a part of it. It's about a passion. I wish that American political, let's call it frisson, to use a French word. I mean, I wish that our politics was as passionate and not as mean. You know, like I feel like when I just feel that Latin culture, the baseline of it is passion. It's about flesh and getting sweaty with anger and really delving in. I mean, if you're gonna have political dissent in Mexico, it's all there's art in it. You can't just be a communist. You have to be an artistic communist, or you have to be and there's that, not just Latin blood, but there's that whole it is a passion for life that and art and creativity and expression, and politics is a part of all of that. Mm-hmm. It's different than here, and I feel that Roma and New Order has that. I mean, yeah, it can be deadly, but there's a passion, there's an understanding of the finite nature of life, and you need to make your mark. You need to stand up and be passionate. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me romanticizing it all, but that's what I feel is in those movies.
Did you watch Daniel and Anna? Did you
I
order
have
it?
not yet. I own it. I have it. I got the DVD. It's not on Blu-ray,
Okay.
but I have not watched it yet. I forgot. You know what? To be honest, I forgot about it. It's right over there. I just have not got to it yet. What I really need is a screen. I don't have a screen in here. And now I'm packing everything up because eventually we're going to have to move. But the next Robservatory, I'm going to have a home theater inside of it. Because I don't have that. I've got my computer screens, but I need a proper home theater. But I bought it because of you.
Oh.
Wow.
Well,
You told me about it, and I ordered the DVD, so I got it. AJDZ sends in a super chat and says, Gemma Chan for Dr. Afra.
Yes.
Look,
Definitely.
I think Gemma Chan should just be about everywhere.
Definitely.
I mean, like, as far as I'm
She's
I
concerned,
agree. I agree.
oh my God.
She
I
would be
mean,
perfect.
wow.
I can
look,
definitely see her as Dr. Afra.
that would actually be great. And then she would have been in 2 Marvel movies and the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
And our friend RRT and Zed, all the way from New Zealand, says, Hail Rob, Lael, and watched
Hello.
Deep Space Nine today. Reminded me Gul Dukat was one of the GOAT sci-fi villains. So nuanced, genius writing. Any thoughts? Cheers, bruh. Come on.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek series of all time, and I'm waiting for is it XO6? I'm
Mm-hmm.
waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for my my figure of Benjamin Sisko. I'm waiting for that figure, and I'm
Yeah.
Dude,
hoping they make it.
it's coming. No, they're gonna make that. The next
Yes, it
figure that
is.
comes out is the EMH, the emergency medical hologram, and
Mhm.
then Mirror Spock after the Chinese New Year. But Exo 6 is crushing it.
Yeah, they
So
are.
they've announced they're doing 7 of 9. They've shown Ben Sisko. They've shown Archer from Enterprise. They've shown. Actually, they haven't shown. Can I say that? I can't say this. I've seen a couple of things that they haven't shown yet that are interesting. And they're apparently going to release. I mean, that Cisco figure they have, because they already have the First Contact uniform, which is in the pale moonlight.
Yes.
I can live with it.
I'm gonna get that figure of Ben Sisko, and I'm gonna get a Fison body and make one for his son, so that they're together. Because they were like in the series, it was they were together as a family. So
Oh yeah, no.
I want to see that.
And
Together.
look, I think they're going to make a Jake and Nog 2-pack.
Oh,
I think they will. They're talking about that. I think Exo 6 is one of the great companies in terms of they really understand their license. I just hope they seem to be selling out their figures. So that's good. Lael, did you order anything new? Did you get anything this week?
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
okay, so here's the thing. There's a couple of things that basically happened this week that I didn't expect to happen from a company that we're not going to name because I don't want to expose this because it was their mistake. Okay, so listen. So I have the Golden Armor Wonder Woman. So I just got it.
No.
Yeah, so I have
Dude,
it.
I don't know where mine is en route. Wait,
It's en route.
Elizabeth's asleep.
It's,
Yes.
it's en route. So listen, mine arrived yesterday, as a matter of fact. So it's here and it's ready. I haven't actually done a take a position on it yet, but I will. But I'm just going to keep it, minimal. But so I got that right. Do you know that I got another invoice? Another DHL invoice saying that there's another one on its way and it'll be here Tuesday that I did not order.
what?
Yeah. There's another one on its way.
Maybe it's mine.
Now, there is another one on its way. And I'm like, how did this happen? Now, I want to be the honest person and contact them and say, listen, I got another figure here. You might want to, this could be someone else's. So I just want to basically make sure that and I don't mind if you want, I'll send it back. Because I don't like robbing companies like that, especially like a mom and pop company.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Plus,
But
that's
it's
not
like-
that's a very pricey figure.
Yeah, like it's like $400. You know what
Yeah.
I mean for that figure. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, But that's coming, and along with I'm getting another Miles. So another Miles is actually coming. And
That's the
one
video
that my
the
mother-
video game Miles?
No, yeah, the video game version
Yeah.
Miles. Yeah, that's the one that my mother, wanted me to have. She wanted me to have that because she knows I like it. So
It's a great figure.
Yeah, so she got me that one. So it's that one. I still have the in-game 2012 cap to unbox. I haven't done that yet. And Batgirl,
I need to get that.
So yeah. So there's some hopefully Boba by next week. We don't know that Boba double pack that I'm going to be excited to unleash. Yes, right.
Having a
So
figure while the series is on.
it's incredible, right?
Well, that's incredible that they dropped it in the same week that it
In the
came out.
same
I
week.
mean, I'm like, Hot Toys, do you not get the excitement level that you?
Yeah, right. And here's the thing: it was crazy because when I was watching the episode, I watched it at 3:00 in the morning, and right at the very end, Max Geekdom hits me up, and he was like, "So did you enjoy the episode?" I was like, "Yes." So we talked about it for a few minutes. He's like, "Okay, let me get back to the reason why I messaged you." I was like, "Well," he's like, "Well, they just released the 2-pack." I was like, "No, they didn't." I looked on the site and I was like, I don't see it. He said, trust me, it's coming. Couple minutes later, boom, the ball dropped. I was like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
No, but how cool is it that
Yeah.
Hot Toys is they're changing the game, I think.
Yeah, they are.
They understand, especially because look, obviously we talked about on Justin's show tax purposes or whatever. what they've dropped in the last 2 months is insane.
Yeah,
They've dropped like 20 figures.
Yeah, they have. They've literally dropped 20 figures.
I
And
mean,
it's like, okay, what's next?
I,
What are we going to see next? Now, mind you, I'm still waiting on Ahsoka. We haven't seen that yet.
yeah,
so
we haven't seen Ahsoka. There's a few figures that are like lingering. Where's Loki from Endgame?
Yeah.
You know, it's not here yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I want? You know, it's funny. It's not Hot Toys. I've been paying off. So from the Chinese science fiction movie, The Wandering Earth, nobody cares about it. But the Damn Toys Wandering Earth 6-scale figure, which is dope as fuck. It's so cool.
Damn Toys make some good figures.
Oh, I do have The Godfather coming.
You have
And it's coming. There's this gigantic box it's got like 6 figures in it. I have to know when it shows up. I'm looking at DHL, you know, and you're like looking at the DHL like, well, it's in transit. It's been in transit for like, it doesn't say, there's no updates. And then it just shows up on your doorstep. And Elizabeth's like, what is this? Oh, baby, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You just go to act. It's like, hey.
But this box, it's going to be
generous.
It's going to be gigantic. I'm going to be like, oh, Justin sent me a bunch of stuff.
Yo, and I'm telling you right now, that golden armor is a huge box. It's
all their gigantic boxes.
Yes.
Gigantic.
It's a huge box. So be prepared. What do you have coming?
That's a good question. I in this very room, I have an incredibly large box from Sideshow, and I believe it's my 1/4 scale Mando and Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
The Hot Toys figure or the statue?
It's this is a good question. I think it's the statue.
Yeah, because Adam Savage did an unboxing of that. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, mine is still in the box. I haven't taken it out. I'm also supposed to be getting my Ezekiel figure from is it Moo? I can't remember the company, the third party company, but it's Ezekiel figure from the Walking Dead.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I also recently got my Lando figure.
Okay.
Oh, which is that's a great figure.
Yeah, my mother wants one, so I have to get another one.
I love that.
She saw it and she was like, oh my God, it looks just like, Billy D. Williams. I said, well, the actor Mummy is Billy D. Williams from Star Wars. Don't you remember? She says, oh, that's what this is from. I said, yes. And she was like, you have to order one for me. And I said, okay.
Did you tell her that that figure looks at your mom and goes, you truly belong here with amongst the stars.
Amongst the stars. Yeah.
All of it. I'm like,
you old smoothie.
He can lead me to his quarters. I'm fine with it. Like, I will follow him to the ends of the earth. He just looks so beautiful. They really did a beautiful job in that figure of Billy D. And, we all know it's long overdue seeing something so beautifully made of him, of a man who is incredibly attractive and was at the time, considered, one of the coolest, sophisticated, just such a wonderful actor and just incredible. So, I got that figure.
Do you know where he's going to? Do you know the things that life is showing you?
Where are you going
you know?
to? Do you know?
Do you know?
But my mother, of course, loves that film too. And then, Lady Sings the Blues, which I think is what it's called, but maybe not. But
no, it is.
She would want to order that and change his clothes. I mean, I know that he's supposed to be Lando, but he looks so good. That head sculpt looks so good. Like she would want to dress him up in that film and whatever other film he may have made. So, I just love that we're getting this figure like that, and we can kind of have fun with the figure like this.
Dude,
it's a beautiful figure.
Someone's gonna make the 6-scale 40 ounces and I want to have
Oh, the
Lando
Colt
like, hold,
45?
With
you
the
know,
6 scale code 45.
come on,
You know
man.
what? You wouldn't be. Yo, I bet you if you searched it out, you could probably.
Oh,
find
dude,
it.
I've got
It's
stuff back here.
probably on
like-
Toys Wonderland.
Yeah,
I
and you
mean,
could
Yeah.
possibly find it right now, or even if you go through Amazon, you could
Yes.
possibly find a 6 scale code 45.
dude, I
Yes.
looked up Quentin Tarantino's Red Apple cigarettes in 6 scale.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And I got them, and I'm looking for where it was back here somewhere. There's somewhere over here. I don't. Oh, it's right here. So check this out. So I looked up because I got a new Pulp Fiction. I got that Pulp Fiction figure. So like I just want to show this. There's not drugs in here. I just want to point out there's not drugs
it's
here.
the cigarettes, right?
Yeah, so I've shown this before, and I'll do it now. But so I ordered the Red Apple cigarettes, which is from Quentin Tarantino. So here they are. I mean, you can't. These are so insane. Here's
It's
the
so much fun.
here's the
I
pack
love accessories.
Here's the pack of cigarettes. Now, here's the most insane part about this. This is the most insane part. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. No, there are not cigarettes in it.
Oh, yes, there are.
Oh my goodness.
There are cigarettes. There are cigarettes in here. Not just one, and they're filtered.
And they're filtered cigarettes. Wow.
Come on now. Here, wait, hang on.
Wow.
Just so people can see. Let me just show you with the Red Apple logo and the cigarettes. I mean, here's why I love collecting this shit, because
The attention to detail, man.
and there's like, I won't take them out, but there are various smoked. You can get, there's smaller ones and larger ones, so you have multiple versions of how smoked they are.
Yeah.
And there's actually some extras in here if you lose it.
If you lose them, right?
I mean, it's
Perfect.
just so. And I think they were like $20, and they come in this, like, when I got this, I'm looking around going, what is this? I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking with the white in here. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? I'm like, normally it comes in a bindle. It usually I used to buy stuff that was in a Victoria's Secret ad that was wrapped up in a little triangular bindle, and that'd be good. But I'm like, what is this? They sent it through the mail. I'm like looking around for the police. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, it's the 6 scale Red Apple cigarettes I ordered from China.
Yeah.
I also, the character played by Ben Kingsley in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But not just in Shang-Chi. The character
In Iron Man 3.
Yeah, and I think Lael, I had told you about this. I had ordered it because I didn't know that that they had made a figure of Ben Kingsley. I'm a big fan of his.
That figure is great.
Yes,
and it comes with a chair, as you know.
It comes with the chair.
And that is going to be coming soon. But I just thought that when else are you going to get a figure of Ben Kingsley? Like, where are you going to get that? Nowhere.
First of all, that is in my mind, the most unsung Hot Toys figure they've ever made. It is. Where do you get it? It's
the costume, right, Robert? It's incredible embroidery
beautiful. It is so gorgeous. And what's great is it comes with the big sunglasses, and like when you have him displayed, you have to display him when he's like sitting back. He's kind of drooped over. The poses you can do with that figure.
Well, the other thing that I was thinking is that he also played Poirot. I don't know if you are familiar with his. Yeah. He's played many roles. He's played Gandhi. I'm going to get all the outfits for the figure and just switch it around and just like have fun with it, because he's someone who is such a famous, well-known actor.
You know what? Ben Kingsley doesn't age.
No, he's looked the same age since Gandhi in '82.
Since Gandhi, bro, like he's looked the same way. I'm like,
are we going to see, gentlemen? Are we going to see more actors of the status of Ben Kingsley in a lot of films, like in these superhero films? What are your thoughts? I mean, are we going to see actors of his status or other female actors of that status?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing it now.
Look,
We
with
yeah.
Robert Redford and Winter Soldier, all bets are
Yes.
off.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, Kate Blanchett, Glenn
Mm-hmm.
Close was in Guardians of the
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Sir Anthony Hopkins played, of course, we already
Odin.
know the All Father Odin. So yeah,
By the way, they didn't make a Ragnarok Odin. I'm so happy that I have my Odin from Thor.
yeah,
It's a good figure.
they didn't do a Ragnarok one.
No,
But that was just him in civilian. But they just didn't. They didn't
still
actually do it. Yeah, they could have. There
third
was an
party,
opportunity to.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, but again, once you get that figure in hand, it's
That I mean, it's
masterpiece.
so good, and the glasses, his sunglasses are so good, and
Hmm.
it's funny to me because I didn't have a problem with him. I'm a huge fan of Iron Man 3.
Hmm.
I don't, I don't. You go back and you look at it. It's an auteurist. There are very few MCU movies that are auteurist films. That's a total Shane Black movie through and through. Everything about it. It takes place at Christmas.
Yeah,
It's wacky. I
yeah,
love Iron Man 3, and I love the armor.
yes,
I
yes,
got to get that quarter scale armor. I love the
yeah.
third scale armor or the sixth scale armor. It's great,
And the armor from the House Party Protocol. Woo.
bro.
Yeah, there was a lot of them there. Yeah, yes, and bro, I'm telling you, you have to get that. If anybody doesn't have it, you get that Pepper Potts 2-pack.
You know what? I never
Get the,
got
I'm
it,
sorry.
dude.
Get
Oh
the
my
what?
God, it's the Pepper Potts 2-pack.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
Oh my
yes.
God, I'm so happy I got my hands on that thing, man. It is amazing, bro. Now, mind you, the armor is not die cast. It's not.
No, it's
but,
fine. I understand.
But just the pepper. Oh my God, bro. I love it. I'm so glad. It's like one of my favorite figures, man.
Okay,
Like, literally.
I'll get. It's something I slept on. It's not hard to get.
No, it's not. It's out there. It's
yeah,
not.
'cause
Now,
You
people-
can
I
definitely
do
get
have to ask both of you, and Robert, you did mention to me that you have those wonderful orders of your 1/6 scale cigarettes. Have you ordered any additional outfits for your figures recently?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I'd forgotten I ordered I ordered the Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, because I have to get a body for it that Justin's going to help me out for.
Yeah.
My first body for a figure that I bought was my Freddie Mercury. That's over here. I got a
Yeah.
Fison body, not knowing. So the Freddie Mercury figure that I bought came in. Here's how it came. It came in this box, and it was his outfit. And I actually have him posed just like this. The Wembley Stadium outfit.
Yes.
Now, since it's Midnight Metal, I can show you this.
Yes.
gotcha.
I
So-
remember, Robert, you did an unboxing of this.
Yes.
A very quick unboxing of this these sort of parts.
Yeah.
of,
So
Freddie
actually, I've been keeping other parts because I love this box. so I have to say that I'd never got a male Fison body before. Now, what I did not know about male Fison bodies is they're used in art classes.
Yes.
So like drawing classes. So so
preface
in the Fison body it came. So I got my male body, which are great because it's silicone, and then there's a metal armature inside, so it's
And at the bottom, yeah.
posable. It's beautiful. So then I get there's a little like foam pouch. I'm like, what is this? I open it up, and now I've moved them into here. So there are three. Here's the pouch. Here, hang on. Let me go full frame on this one. So here's the pouch of what came in the Fison body. And what's very funny about this is, so you have to understand, guys, and I hope that I don't get demonetized for this. Again, and what I find so funny about this, so there are two different options. There is this option, which is more something I'm more familiar with myself, or there is this option, which I wish I was more familiar with. Now, it is very hyper realistic. Now, the funny thing is, I guess you're supposed to use some adhesive. So what I chose to use, there was a third option that came with it, which was this aroused. So the third option, which I decided, because it was Freddie Mercury, to use the aroused version and stuffed it in his pants. So when you look at him over there, you see, because when you're singing Radio Gaga, or you're singing We Are the Champions, or We Will Rock You, you're 45 degrees this way. You're not 45 degrees this way. So I decided in this, because by the way, this set, exquisite. It's an amazing set. I had to give him the right peen, as Elizabeth would say. And needless to say, when I opened this the first time, this was the first time I encountered, I was like, wow. But yes. And so all the male Fison bodies do come with multiple peens, which I figure, I have to say, good on them. And I think my display of my 6th scale band, the ultimate band, and this year I'm adding Bowie. I'm adding Bob Marley. Bob Marley is called like protest singer. So I'm adding Bowie and Bob Marley to a band that already consists of Freddie Mercury, John Lennon, and Jimi Hendrix. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, the 6th scale statue of Prince. And then Justin got me an Elvis figure. And now I'm going to have what I really want. I used to have the Hot Toys 2-pack of Michael Jackson Thriller. What I want is the Billie Jean figure. I need the Michael Jackson Billie Jean figure, which is way more expensive. But I will take the Thriller figure. So to make my 6th scale band. So there you go. And I did get my actual this is the Henry Cavill head sculpt with the proper hair from the black suited Spider-Man that I will put on my Nightmare 2-pack when I finally get it. So there you go. Hang on one second. Wait. People can't hear what, because I haven't switched back.
You took us off.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. So go ahead.
Yeah, nah.
So tell me
But
about
nah,
kit bashing.
Yeah, it's because the thing is, you have to get the right body for the figure. Like it has to be the right tone, and it's trying to find that tone is difficult, man. Like literally.
Well, that's why I always call up the Oracle of Delphi, aka Justin Kane, and I'm like, bro. Like he told me, I'm like, I'm looking at I had ordered the wrong Fison body for Freddie, and he tells me what I need to order, and oh my God, look at that! That is, I don't usually tell girls that's a huge box, but that's a huge box.
Hold up, that looks like, is it okay? That's a quarter scale statue or figure?
I think it's funny that I don't know this.
That looks like a statue to me.
It does.
It says the Mandalorian and Grogu PF.
Premium format. That's the actual premium format statue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't opened it yet.
That's the one that I was going to get, but I chose to go the route of the quarter scale
Mando
figure, the quarter scale Mando for that one.
Yeah, but
I'm getting that one too.
Yeah, Adam Savage did do a review of that figure, and he was a big fan of it. So
yeah, of the statue.
Yeah,
the premium format.
Yeah, the statue. It's good.
So it's here, and I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy like how we get stuff and sometimes it's delayed how we open it? Like the anticipation to get it is so huge, but once you get it, sometimes you just delay opening it because either you're tired or you got so much going on.
But you can't put it, I mean, let me ask you this, Lael.
Yeah.
We've seen, I mean, whenever, can you do this for me? Just hang on. I want to go full screen on you. Can I go full screen on you?
Sure.
And if I could just ask you to just show the folks at home, just turn and show, dude, oh my God, 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 look at that, oh my God, oh my
You
God.
see it whole way down. It
Oh
just
no,
goes the
look at
whole
that.
way down.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
oh my.
It's just like a hall of figures. It just goes a
But
whole
now,
way down. And it
now
goes
you got
the
the
whole
full.
way
Now
around.
it's so amazing. So, what is opposite of you? Like, what are you looking at right now? Is it the same thing down the other way?
It's almost the same thing down the other way. It's just darker over there, so it's more detox. There's a couple more detox, and then further back is my I have my not my detox, but my we talk about them all the time. Oh, it just slipped in my mind today. Module cases. Yeah, I have my module cases
Oh, nice.
further down, but behind me there's two DTOS and in my television in the middle of it. So yeah, so there's I have a lot of DTOS, man. And I love them and I'm not getting rid of them because it's just I love the setup and I love how I have them set up. So
Well, I love
I
it. Look,
don't
no,
want
no.
rid of them.
Here's the thing. I mean, it's all about aesthetics, and those
Mhm,
detops we've set them up, and that. I mean, dude, come on, that's some
mhm.
epic shit right there. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
fantastic, and every time you put the camera, you just turn that camera. You know what you need
Yeah,
to you
we
know
want
what
to
you
see it
need.
all.
I did it.
Here,
Now, did you see the did you see the actual because I did a room tour. I did the
no, I have
actual
not
Yeah.
watched
the
that
couple on
video
my
yet
site.
because I
Yeah.
wanted to. So, but I do think you need figure cam. I think that
Hmm.
people like I think Justin and you and wherever I go to next, I'm going to have the same thing where we can actually cut to multiple cameras showing our collections in various places. The
Hmm.
new, if I do, when I do, hopefully, I'm going on Sunday to see perhaps a new place where I will be.
Hmm.
I'm going to set up the whole place will be rigged with cameras. And I'll just have the switching board and be able to like click, 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 and show different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just
Yeah.
figures. I'm like, look at this book.
Hmm.
Here's my Dan Simmons
Everything.
shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, or here's my physical media.
Yeah.
But
Bro,
The one thing I was going to say is that something that I've been doing. I don't have them in front of me, but sometimes you can also buy the head sculpts,
hmm
and then you can buy a body and create a
yeah,
yeah.
similar
Keep matching.
look.
Yeah.
Especially if it's one of those figures where they give you multiple head sculpts. I love when they
Hmm.
do that. I'm like, oh, more than one
Hmm.
head
well,
sculpt.
that's
We
why
got to
you
get a
asked
second
me about the clothing. I bought the Ben Affleck Batman, the Bruce Wayne, the bespoke overcoat and tuxedo, and I've got to get the body. But because the Justice League Batman comes with the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, I would never use that. So because I have my armory Batman with Christian Bale and
Yeah.
Alfred. And
Hmm.
so I want to do a
Yeah,
whole Bruce Wayne display. I love
it's gonna look
I
good.
love civilian. I have a fetish not just for chairs, but for
Yeah.
civilian figures.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing is and we need more of them, bro. Like this, like fillers, like
Dude,
background.
that Winter Soldier 2-pack with the stealth
Hmm.
suit and the
Yeah.
I love it. I love
And
it
they
so
need to
much.
do more of that, bro. Like they really do to give us different looks of these figures. And we have
Yeah.
ways to kind of feature them with other characters and put them in other scenes. Like they need to continue to do stuff like that. It'd be amazing, bro. Like literally.
I also and you both already know this, some of the third party figures that we've seen of what's the character, Vision. They
Hmm.
made a version of him, and you've probably seen it if it's not on Toys Wonderland or one of these sites, where Vision has a suit, like a proper.
Yeah, going to work. He's going to work.
Yeah.
I'm getting that one, but it also comes with that Halloween outfit, the
Wait
old
till you get it.
school.
Wait till you get it. Woo, my
I can't
God.
wait to get that.
That piece is incredible.
And it comes with the
bro.
babies.
Yep.
The twins.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, this is a a quality deal here.
Yeah,
But
it's
you're getting all
innovative.
this other stuff. There was one other figure. Oh yes. The one that Idris Elba, and I think Rob, you have it. Maybe you also have it, Lael. It's gold. He's in gold, and it's from Thor.
Heimdall.
Oh, yeah, Heimdall from from Thor. I have that one. Definitely have it.
And the only thing that I was reticent about, and I think you both know, is that you can't remove
The
the.
helmet. Yeah.
Now, if I could find an Idris Elba face head sculpt, I would get it. And
Well,
if I could even remove it, can you remove that yet?
your prayers might be answered, because here's the thing. So Toys is releasing a blood sport
Yeah.
from yes. And
But-
it will have a head sculpt.
I have to say, this figure
Yes.
is fucking dope as
Yeah.
fuck.
Incredible.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes, it is.
and even you can't tell, but
But it has yep. Yeah.
and these are die cast.
Mhm.
Wow.
His sword is metal.
Mhm.
I mean, first of all, I don't think in the modern age there's a cooler human being than Idris Elba. I just don't think so. And this figure, as a third-party figure, I can't tell you how much I love this figure. It's so good. And by the way, Lael, I have to tell you, I mean, I know we're going off on a tangent. So back in 2020, May of 2020, I ordered Thanos' throne
And you
from tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Justin sent me pictures. He said, it's coming in this week.
Finally.
So for those of you who don't know, I have a 6-scale chair fetish, and I had ordered in May of 2020 from Toys Wonderland a Thanos throne.
Yes.
Now, I'm insane. I have all 3 Hot Toys Thanoses.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Infinity War Thanos, I have the Endgame Thanos, and the Battle Damage Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
So in my Modu cases that I never actually got to fully set up, I wanted to have the Thanos triptych, where I would have the 2012 Thanos with his sword, who didn't have the entire. Now he would be sitting there with his sword and kind of maybe doing like the thinker pose.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to have the snapping Thanos from Infinity War pose.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to have the sad Thanos from Endgame,
From Endgame.
who was sitting on the ground. And I wanted to do that triptych with the throne. So the powerful 2012 Thanos that didn't have all the infinity. And I'm like, where's the goddamn throne, man? I paid for it.
You've been waiting for how long?
Since May of 2020, dude. May of 2020, where's my goddamn throne? Where is it?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. And then Justin sends me the pictures. It looks exactly like the throne I ordered.
Yeah.
But it has like LED lights in it now. And I'm like, okay. It better be the same goddamn throne. And Justin's like, is this the same one you ordered? I'm like, I hope it is, because Jesus Christ, it looks like the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I want my Thanos, and now we have to move. I'm thinking, well, my dream Modicase display is 3 DF60s,
Yeah.
3 DF120s, 3 more DF60s, 3 more DF120s, and to be capped off at 3 more DF60s. Because I already have 9 DF60s. I just need the DF120s. And I think that's good, because I can put the Ecto one, which is... Wait, is Elizabeth around? The Ecto one is almost paid off.
Oh, she's not there. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was legitimately there.
No,
That's what
she's
I'm
not.
interested to find out, where are you going to
So-
put that Ecto 1, bro? Because
In
you're
the
going to need a space big enough for that, man.
It fits in a DF120 because I saw that in Denobi's channel.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, it
okay.
does.
But yes, I mean, I'm like, I always wanted that, and I've been paying it off for like 18 months. But it's coming up to the end. Like, what? Again, when these boxes show up, I'm like, yo, baby, I don't know what that is. She's like, where's the rent?
You're gonna be able to explain it.
Where's the mortgage payment? I'm like, it's coming, yo. Why you gotta front me like this? Why you front me? Come on, now.
What I kind of also like too, though, is that some of the figures from some of the third-party figures cost a little less.
A lot
And
less.
sometimes they have, maybe like almost $100 less sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, with the Homelander, for a long time, we didn't have an official Homelander. And I guess they had the Homelander choice, the third party. And it was kind of inexpensive, and I felt like that was kind of a bargain if you did not want to go ahead and spend $300 for some of the more expensive choices. Or even better, just order the head, because they have a few head sculpts. And then just get the body and you have that figure,
I did buy the So Toys Homelander. I'm a huge fan. I that was one of the figures. It's the John Lander figure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Have they released that one yet?
No, but
Okay,
I bought that outright like a year ago from Toys
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's a great alternative. If you can only afford one or two fights and bodies, you can always switch the head off, and you want it to be that character that day. It really is an option for a lot of collectors. You don't need a whole bunch of space necessarily. Just like talking about options.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's funny is there's a lot of like. I have no problem buying a third party figure. I'll just say that. But I mean, I look at this Heimdall figure, and one of the things I really love about this figure is that, like, it doesn't have to do what a Hot Toys figure does necessarily, like, because he's a supporting character. I really love all the different fabrics and the different textures and the die cast. I mean, this gigantic sword, this sword is really heavy. It's really
heavy. You can't hold it up. You can't unless you can't hold it up like that.
No, you have to have them like and having it holding down. But like, I've got my Odin from the first Thor, and I've ordered. I got the Loki throne, and I want to do a whole I've got a whole display that I have in mind, and to have this figure. Hot Toys is never going to make this figure. No. One, because they're racist fucks. But two, because they're just not going to make him, because why would they? And I'm like, my feeling would be like, well, why wouldn't you? But so the third party steps in and gives us what we want. Which is
that's what I'm saying. Even with the Bloodsport, like they're stepping in and they're giving us that.
I can't
character.
wait for that one.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that layout. I'm going to get
amazing. That. Now, here's my question though. Why haven't we seen a red dress Harley yet?
There is a third party one, right, Leo?
I'm not sure because I haven't seen it yet. Like, or one that's actually worth.
But the Arkham figure, doesn't the Arkham figure have? Doesn't it have more red in it,
bro? That Arkham figure is pretty much one of my roundabout, actually top 10 figures.
Dude, I was afraid the way you talk about that figure. I'm like, is Latoya? Is she on the market? Because I'm wondering.
Is it called BBK version or the one? It's a third party. But she has on a G-string. That's the difference. The one.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
I thought that's a beautiful figure.
Is that the suit from the very beginning of the film, like the one that she wore with the I think it was the tights and like the I think she had like the leather tights on, whatever, with the I think that with the brassiere. I think that's the one that we saw in the very there is that one. But I haven't seen one with the red dress yet. There might be. There has to be one out there.
By the way, I don't mean to cut this short, but I'm sure people are like, "What the hell are people talking about?" They're like, "What the hell?" Like, you guys are like going off.
We definitely did a tangent.
No, don't be. You don't have to apologize on this show. I just wanted to. I want to get back to our TNT about how Gul Dukat is the goat of villains. I just want
Yes.
to say yes, he is, and his turn when he became a good guy, and then he had Zial, his daughter. I have to say this though, I did not like when he was possessed by the paw wraiths, and then it got a little goofy when and when they took his makeup off and made him more. He was the Imzadi or not the Imzadi, but him and Luis Fletcher, Kai Wynn were all like, well, whatever. But I do like. I
was so upset with him.
No, it was great. Now, Tom Jr. Jackson says, Rob, The Tender Bar is a fantastic movie, badass soundtrack. Should be the next whining topic. We're coming back. I'm with you. It looks so good. Elizabeth and I can't wait to watch it. We'll probably watch it tomorrow. Oh, I can't wait to see it.
You will love it. It's really beautifully done. And as I said, Ben Affleck in that film, he just shines in that. He was as good in that as he was in Good Will Hunting. So, if you enjoyed his performance in that, it's as an older, more mature Ben Affleck. And I love
to get some shine because it's a really good film, bro. We watched it last night. Yeah.
Oh, did you watch it with your mom?
Yeah. Oh,
Did she dig it?
My mom's a huge Ben.
I did too.
She loves it, bro. She loves it.
I want to come hang out with your mom, dude.
Oh, my mom, bro. Everything. Here's the thing: is everything that is me when it comes to film collecting came from my mother. Literally, it came from my mom.
So, tell your mom I'm coming to hang out with her.
Yes.
Is she a good cook?
Love it. Oh my God.
Okay, well done.
Oh my God!
When do we? Did you? I just tell her that I have to come to Harrisburg because of Dawn of the Dead.
Oh,
just so that. Be sure and remind her.
Come on,
Harrisburg, because we passed about an hour ago. That's all I need to know. Harrisburg. Yep. It was mentioned in Dawn of the Dead. I wouldn't know where it is.
Yep. Definitely.
And the great Ken Foray. By the way, somebody needs to make the ultimate Dawn of the Dead 4-pack. We've got 2 packs. Mm-hmm. You know what? Maybe if I started my own, like Justin talked about starting his own 6-scale figure company.
6-scale figure,
yeah. I think my first act as a 6-scale figure producer would be to make Peter, Fran, Steven, and Roger. I'd have to make with the extra. I mean, to get people to buy it, you might have to put in and do like the 7 samurai that are right here, the Alfrex 7 samurai. They cost $1,500 to buy the whole, which is way more expensive, and that was 20 years ago. Yeah. And I think that's what I would do. Anyway, the Richard, who's cooking up some new video stuff. I can't wait to see it. Hearing you talk about the horror erotica film from Mexico reminds me of the French film Base Moi, which I have that. I have that on Blu-ray. Real stuff, natural born killer vibe. Seen that? Come on there, Richard.
Bro, while you were talking about that film, I pulled up some. You're gonna love it. it's it's X-rated, Rob. Like literally.
You're talking about We Are the Flesh?
We Are the Flesh. That is
it's X-rated incest.
Yeah, it is. It is X-rated.
But it's beautiful and crazy.
Yeah, it's a zany film. You gotta, because I was just watching like different. Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's got.
I will report back on my review.
Let me just weigh in on that. What was interesting to me is I just read the premise of it, and I'm like, okay, they might have found a gateway to hell or something. And I ordered it. Arrow put it out on Blu-ray. I'm like, okay. And then I watched. I'm like, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, right. It's hardcore. I mean, it's not hardcore like Devil and Miss Jones hardcore, which is but Devil and Miss Jones is like the gold standard of horror porn.
Yeah.
Sort of. But this We Are the Flesh, it's beautifully shot, but it's really disturbing and weird. And I'm like, wow. But yeah. Don't want to say anything about it, but I didn't know you pulled it up. It's let me tell you. By the way, Lael, don't show it to your mom.
No.
I'm just saying. Show it to Latoya, and when you're alone, no daughters, don't just no.
Yeah, I would never
Yeah,
do that.
don't do that because
Never do that. No.
I didn't know. To be honest,
No.
I'd read about it. It was one of the things you read about and you watch it. My favorite experience of that. There's a French film. Do you know the French film Martyrs?
Martyrs.
Yeah. Do you know that movie?
It's a horror film, isn't it?
It's a horror film. Okay. Here's the thing. So I've been when Martyrs came out, I'd read all kinds of articles about it. And I'm like, it was the one time, I mean, I've read thousands of film books and articles. So when Martyrs was coming out, I was like, I'm reading these articles, I'm like, there's something about these articles that I don't know. I have no sense of what this movie actually is.
Yeah.
What is it? What is Martyrs?
Watched it.
It's fucking metal, dude. Martyrs is fucking metal. I had no idea, and I have to tell you, if you guys have, and by the way, I don't mean to oversell it because people think like, when I say things are awesome, they think that like rainbows are going to form over their heads and they're going to hear like choral choirs from the heavens. No, movies are movies, all right? So they're you have to understand movies are just what they are. However, Martyrs is a singular kind of a horror movie. I think it's kind of a masterpiece. But Martyrs was a movie. There are seldom movies that are ahead of me.
Yeah.
You see a lot of movies. You know what's going to happen. You just go with it. Martyrs, dude. Martyrs fucked me up.
Yeah.
The whole 20 minutes in, my jaw hit the floor. And then by the end of the film, I was sitting on my couch in a quivering mass going, what did I just watch? And why do I not understand what my existence on Earth is like now? It was that kind of... Now, it's in French.
Right now.
And I tried... Don't, by the way, do not watch the English language remake. Do not. Okay. No. Only the French could make Basemoy, like Basemoy. Only the French can do some fucked up shit. I mean, you think the French would be like, oh, why would you want to do that? We could smoke some cigarettes and have some croissants and coffee. Why? The French are like, there's a reason the French never went to the moon. Why would you do that? We'll read some Proust. We'll talk about time and philosophy and go to the Louvre. No, it's they make some fucked up movies, and Martyrs is one of them.
Yeah, Trojan, Belisario, Caitlin. Oh wow, it looks.
Dude,
it looks intense.
Dude,
it looks intense, bro.
Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, I literally, the first time I ever felt dirty after watching a horror film that I really like was the first time I watched I Spit on Your Grave. And I had a real problem with that. I don't like verisimilitude when it deals with violence against women. And when I saw I Spit on Your Grave, I was like, it was rape revenge films. Thriller, A Cruel Picture, or AKA They Call Her One Eye. I don't deal with that stuff well. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's not a favorite genre of mine. I don't like rape revenge. I don't like violence against women, especially. But Martyrs was different because Martyrs had a philosophical underpinning, and at the end of it, I was like, I was stunned. I was just stunned by the whole thing. And at the end, there is a philosophical question that is posed about it. And what's interesting about the end of that movie is it basically says God is real, and you need to take heed of that. That the Holy Spirit exists. even though there's a reason it's called Martyrs, and it becomes a philosophical. I leave it up for you. Just watch it and get back to me. Get back to me.
Definitely watch it because I'm just from what I'm seeing and just a synopsis after what I read and just seeing.
Don't read anything about it. Don't.
No. It's not. It doesn't give anything away. It just mainly
Dude, it's fucked up. But anyway, let me get back. There's some super chats, and I will hang on. Dave Atkins says, "Queasy for the lovely. What is the story behind your name?"
I wanted a name that you had to work to pronounce. So I thought that if you had to roll your R's and then kind of like pronounce just the letters M and R, that it would kind of have a different kind of reaction for people than another type of name.
You know what I thought, right? You know what
you thought it was like R2D2 or Yoda or something like that?
No, I thought it was Chewie.
Chewie.
I
could see that.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought it was associated to. So
I like that.
Being that you're a Star Wars fan as well, like I was like, that's what I thought it came from. But now that you explained it, I'm like,
it's pretty good. I like it.
Thank you.
Stubble McShave goes on to say, I saw that on January 17th is the docentenary Betty White 100 Years Young was coming out. Do you think it will be pulled because of her passing, or do you think it will be an excellent way of paying tribute to this legend? She's the last Golden Girl to leave us. Well, for those of you who don't know, many people were preparing the 100-year stories of Betty White. Mm-hmm. I think some of them will go through because, she was only a few weeks short. Mm-hmm. It's not like her work and her talent and her legacy went away.
Yeah.
You guys think it'll happen?
See what happened?
Do you think that they will still play these Betty White remembrance shows?
I think they should.
I do too.
I definitely think they should. I don't think they should be pulled. I think that it's a celebration of her life, what she meant. Also the simple fact that people don't understand is she was a great and amazing humanitarian. And that she basically spoke out against so many different things in her own way. All the way from the 1940s on. Exactly. I'm all in. I even want a Betty White hot toys. Give me one.
Yes, the Golden Girls, the whole Golden Girls set.
Like literally, I think
I'd love you. I'd love you to go to Howard Chan and try and sell that one. Just show us that.
Hey, if he wants to broaden his audience past what this certain medium, hey. Anyway, but no, I think they should. I definitely think that they should because she's basically made her mark in so many different ways, and she earns and deserves the respect. Literally, I think they should. Yeah,
for sure. The Jughead says, "Happy New Year, Robert, my brother. Happy New Year also to my African American brother Lael and my sister.
How you doing?
Looking forward to Bat Pattinson this year." Okay, yes. The Jughead. Yeah. Jughead's from the UK. This is a good question. Let me ask the two of you. Obviously, we had the Cat and the Bat trailer. Mm-hmm. How are you both feeling about the upcoming The Batman?
I can't wait. I cannot wait. Here's the thing for me. Again, I've gotten it's if you want a film that it's not just the thing is I don't look at it as just a superhero film.
Right. I don't either.
I don't see this as an actual superhero film. I mean, we're getting that, the detective value that we want from it, and also I see it as an upscale 7 because 7 was one of my favorite films of all time.
Oh yeah,
literally it was. And I see that in this particular film. There's so many aspects of it. So I'm come on, man. I cannot wait. My excitement level for this film is so high. I mean, I know a lot of people push back against Robert Pattinson. I don't understand why. I mean, he's already proven himself, but I think it's going to be amazing. I can't
I
wait.
love Robert Patterson. I love him. So
Yeah,
that's
Who
all I'm
doesn't?
gonna
Who
say.
doesn't love Twilight? Come on now.
yeah,
I love him. I love him
yeah.
so much.
But no, listen, literally, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I mean, Zoe Kravitz, come on, man. Let's
Oh
go.
yes, I
Let's
can't wait to
go.
see how she's going to be.
Let's
As
go.
she's going to be fantastic, and I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see a figure for her as well.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
No,
Definitely,
I
definitely.
mean
I cannot
Hot
wait.
Toys is always done right by the Batman franchise, so I'd
Yeah,
expect
they're
a
gonna
lot.
milk that franchise
Oh
definitely,
yeah,
and they know this what's expected. So I can't wait for it. I'm excited about it,
no, me
and
too.
it's coming soon. So I can't wait.
No, totally. The Jughead, thank you so much. I appreciate that. The Jughead goes on to say, Bat Bale is still my favorite Batman, but this could change this year. Love and respect you, Rob, Lael, and all the way from the UK. Well, the Jughead, he says he does say that Bat Bale is his favorite Batman. What do you guys think? I mean, we've seen Michael Keaton, we've seen George Clooney, we've seen Val Kilmer. We've seen Ben Affleck. We've seen Christian Bale. Do you guys have a favorite Batman?
See, the thing is,
Kevin Conroy. Just a voice, but still.
I'm gonna still say for me, because of the impact that the film had when it was released, and because it was the first cinematically done the way it was done, Keaton. It's still going to be Keaton because it's going to be the way it was done for its time and how much I was in love with the suit and just the nostalgia feeling of that era and waiting in line in that film, seeing so many people coming out, the
Yes.
celebration of that film, Prince's soundtrack.
That
Yeah,
dance. Yeah.
Keaton by far.
Wow. What do you think?
I love Keaton, but I also love Christian Bale. So, and now with Patterson, I'm even more in love. So,
Now, Lael, are you going to get the Val Kilmer Hot Toy Batman? The sonar suit?
I have to see it first. I have to see someone else get it. I have to see Justin do a review on it, and I have to see the articulation first before I get it.
yeah, I really love Justin's reviews solely for the point that I can't see as well some of the smaller details. Even when you like Lael, when I was at a con the last time and I saw those Walking Dead figures, I still couldn't see the detail. I mean, it was right in front of me, but I still couldn't see it. I need to see a camera zoom in on it so I can kind of see what that looks like, those details on the figure. So I understand how you feel. For me, I've told Justin this, I said, I need to see it enlarged or else I can't see it and really understand what I'm getting. So I feel that way about it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I love both of those figures. I think they look good. And if Jazz Inc. makes that Batmobile lit up, and they will, I'm all in. Look, I bought the Adam West, Burt Ward Batman and Batman and Robin in 2014 because I wanted. I grew up with the '66 Batmobile.
Yeah.
And I was the
Batmobile. Come on.
I was one of the first people in on the Jazz Inc. Batmobile before they were going to light it up or whatever. And they're like, well, we're going to change it. I'm like, we have to sell a lighting kit. I'm like, take my money.
Yeah.
Here you go.
That thing's going to be a classic, bro. And that's the thing is I would get it if I had, because I haven't gotten my hands on those figures yet. Those two figures. And I
bought them when they first came out.
Yeah.
They're great.
I'm so disappointed I missed out on that.
I mean, are they horrible to get now? I haven't even looked.
I don't think this hard to get. They're out there, but I think it's just they're expensive now.
Yeah.
They're definitely expensive now.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
Aiken sends a super chat and says, what do you do with the boxes? It's maddening. Well, what do you do, Leo?
Oh!
Oh
I think he's
my,
showing us.
oh my
Oh my
God.
goodness gracious!
See,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness!
it's the shrine of boxes. The thing is, but here's the thing: I have the space for it. Like I have to find other spacing for it. Like literally, like it's a job. It's not just an adventure. Like literally,
Wow!
it's a job to do it. But see, the thing is, the reason why I hold on to them because a lot of people I know that they throw away the shippers. I know the art boxes I can never get rid of. I love that's part of it. It's just to have
Yeah,
the
it
art
is.
boxes.
It is.
But it's just that the shippers with the art boxes, it does take up a lot of space. Like I have boxes there. I mean, I got this Christmas, like if you see the pile of mess over there, it's because I got these Christmas tree here that we had to take down. Toya she couldn't wait. As soon as it was over, because she wanted to get her living room back. So she took the tree down and brought it down here, said box it up. I had to box it up. So it's everything over there. But yeah, yeah, it's with those boxes, yeah, it's an adventure. So it's the
Yeah,
thing is, it's like a lot of people get rid of them. They break down the shippers, they get rid of them and they throw them out. Me, I keep the shippers because I like to protect the art boxes. So it just depends on the person.
No, it's true. I've done both. But it is you know, I don't remember who it was. It was a Hong Kong collector who said, "Look, I live in Hong Kong. I can't keep the boxes. There's nowhere to put them. We don't have the space. It's not like you Americans that have like some place to put them." And I was like, "You throw your boxes away?" And I've done both. And I've always regretted throwing the boxes away because all the accessories. What do you do?
yeah. I mean, at the very least, if I needed more space, what I would do is just collapse the boxes, but still keep them.
Oh my God! So Martino Sulmoni. Martino, who lives on I think, the Swiss-Italian border, who is going to be one of the foundational members of the upcoming scale wars between the 1/12th and 1/6 scale. But Martino's kind of neutral, or I don't know where he's going to take it. He's decided to be the commander of the Playmobil enterprise, the Playmobil empire. So I don't know where Martino stands. I do know that he bought me not just this Playmobil Enterprise, but the Playmobil James Bond DB5 that is actually on my bedstand. It's actually the actual. I took it out of the box. It's finished on my bedstand. It's pretty dope. I mean, I actually really like it. It's on my bedstand. My dogs, I have to fight them off. They sometimes want to eat the Playmobil people. But Martino, thank you. Martino says, "Good morning, awesome people. R&B, I'm going to start my own figures production. My bank. Game over, man. Game over." Yeah. Well, Martino, you know, I'll team up with you. I mean, why don't we make some let's make some figures. Let's make some great 6 scale figures. Your bank, let's get a loan.
And make them so that there's multiple head sculpts with every figure.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I can't even imagine. I mean, I can't imagine that third scale. How can you make money? Like, the only reason people make figures is because they love it, right? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's something that you I mean, if to have a piece of something that, you know, especially if you have an idea for something that hasn't been released, and because you love it so much, you love collecting. I mean, this is why we do it. So just imagine if you had the art skill to create.
Okay,
You know,
hang on a second.
Like,
I haven't done this yet.
Those people in S Beam, and I think he was here earlier. He's one of those creators that makes incredible pieces.
Yeah, he's making one of us or me. Martino, however, let me. You know what? I wasn't going to do this now, but I think let me just. I'm going to deal with this right now. Martino made something. I have to see if I can download it because it's absolutely incredible. And let me see if I can find how to do it. I haven't done it yet. I don't know how I can. Oh, wait. I'm going to download. Yeah, I'm going to clear that. Well, hang on, guys. Please. You guys, please opine some more so I can figure out how I can download this. I'm looking at what Martino sent me, and I'm going to download it. I want you to talk amongst yourselves just for a moment.
So let me ask a question, and I'm asking. I wonder if everybody in the chat can chime in. If you had a chance to get, we talk about this all the time. If you had a chance to get or have or own a figure or statue from a movie, a show, sitcom, whatever, and it doesn't have to be related, it have to be action film, whatever. If you had a chance to own one of those, you were granted the opportunity to own one from your favorite, what would it be? I'll pose this to you guys out in the chat and to you also.
If I could own any figure, and it doesn't, size is irrelevant, right?
Correct. Size is irrelevant.
I wish girls always said that.
I would own the I don't know what it's called, but it's a life-size bust of Aquaman. I think it's available on Sideshow. You can get it. I would own that particular. It's actually his waist up. But it's such an incredible lifelike figure of Aquaman, of course, played by Jason Momoa, that it's just an incredible piece. And that I would own that piece. That's the piece I would like to acquire.
It's a good one. Okay, so I got to show this because it's insane. This thing is insane. So Martino Simoni has been a patron saint of this channel, but he has also embraced the idea on Fully Articulated. I randomly threw out the idea where you're going to have a scale war, which was between 6th scale and 12th scale figures. I don't know why, we were just riffing on it, but Martino has been the one that's embraced it the most. And he, because he's European, loves Playmobil figures. We in America don't have the same relationship with Playmobil.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
But I have to show what Martino... Oh, look at that. Look at that.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. So I got to show this video. It's 4 minutes long. I'm gonna shift this, and I'm going to go to the live output. So you're now seeing the live output from the stream on your own screens.
Yep.
So you'll be able to see this in real time. I'm just going to play what Martino made.
Okay.
Because it's fucking incredible. But I'll let you guys decide. Are you ready? It's 4 minutes long.
Ready.
We are ready.
Here we go.
Captain's Log, Supplemental. We have transported the survivors of AS-359 to Starbase K-47. Too bad we couldn't enjoy Commissioner Ferry's hospitality. Doctor, sometimes your hedonism borders on dereliction of duty. Sometimes what? Actually, most of the time. Gentlemen, I'm sure we all enjoyed a very short leave. I did not. Yes, you did. I never left the breach. Exactly my point. Captain, incoming transmission from Commodore Burnett. On screen. Jim, I'm sorry I had to recall your ship this early. Your report on AS-359 is causing concerns at Starfleet headquarters. We need to learn more about the scale wars. We need to discover what scale is and what 1 in 6 and 1 in 12 mean. For this reason, I have suspended your 5-year mission and reassigned the Enterprise to special operations. You are to take whatever measure is necessary to discover everything about the scale conflict. All directive can be suspended. Jim, I did not take this decision lightly, but the survivor of the Federation could be at stake. Good luck. Burnett out. We are witness to Yamatos with different dimension but exact proportions. It's probable that scale refers to size. 1 in 6 and 1 in 12 could indicate a magnification or a reduction factor. Yes, but neither Yamatos were 12 nor 6 times smaller than us. And clearly were not larger than the Enterprise. You are both assuming that Playmobil is the reference of scale, but since we never encountered anything like this, it's logical to assume that their system is based on something else. I have analyzed the subspace interference around the battle at AS-359. There is a group of traces that converges to a location near the Aethor system. Eternia. Isn't that the legendary center of the universe? According to the legend in our databanks. Nonsense! Those were just old stories to entertain the children. Legends aside, Mr. Scott, I suggest we start our investigation there. Chekhov, plot a course for the Aethor system. Mr. Scott, prepare to push the engine. We need to get there fast. Captain's log, special stardate 0. We are embarking on a demanding and possibly dangerous mission, in hope that we can understand the scale conflict before we are drawn into it.
Okay.
Bravo! Bravo!
Wow.
I mean, that might be one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The creativity that went into that, I mean, it's so beyond brilliant.
Molto bene.
Molto bene. I mean, my God. You know what's funny? I mean, what's really interesting to me is one of the great things about YouTube is you find people that, I mean, Martino, you could say that he's a very generous soul. That's great. And I appreciate that. I love him for it. But to see somebody like him who's been very supportive of this channel, which I appreciate, but for him to step up in this epic way, I mean, that was epic. I mean,
that was phenomenal.
it was epic. Come on, that was the cool...
Dude. The caption, the bipolar caption, yo, that was great.
I mean, it was so good.
Yeah.
So Martino, not only has he been a great supporter, and I have to say, he got me the A-Team Playmobil van, which I haven't opened yet. But the Enterprise and the he's been so nice to us. But my God, that was.
I love that. I love that.
And that's what I if there's nothing else, the Post-Geek Singularity, this whole community, Martino, like, dude, stepped up like in the film festival when everybody just made movies. I mean, the creativity is incredible. That was not something he just tossed off in an hour. Yeah. That took a very long time.
I like there were so many perfect parts about it, but the one where he's showing the credits at the end and it was like on an angle and they were all kind of like tipped over. Like, it was
so good. So good.
gosh.
So,
Martino.
Martino Simone, you, sir, are a great imagination connoisseur.
Yes, you are, man.
That was amazing.
Yes, you are, brother.
The Jughead says the Bat Bale origin story in Batman Begins has still not been matched. The only thing that's down the Chris Nolan Batman is the fight scene. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, I love the Nolan trilogy, but I don't know. I mean, I'm tired of seeing Batman's origin. Are you guys tired of that?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I want him to because we've seen it so many times. I want to see it forwarded in something totally different. And what this is the thing is, it's like, no, what I'm welcoming about this particular film because it is, touching on the detective value of Batman, which we all wanted to see. You know what I mean? So that I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I'm extremely happy about that. But again, I'm with you. Like, how many times do we have to see the same origin told? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, I it's funny. The MCU Spider-Man films have not. They don't have to show us the death of Uncle Ben. I mean, they've shown us a briefcase. We don't necessarily know that there is an Uncle Ben or whatever, and they work. We already know. Like, there's no reason. And yet, even in, I think one of the great missteps of Zack Snyder's Justice League was to show us, or maybe Batman v Superman. Is it Justice League that opens with, once again, even though, well, they're coming out of Excalibur, or Excalibur's starting soon, or whatever, we have to watch Batman's parents get killed again?
That was at the beginning of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, Batman v Superman. I mean, it was, by the way, beautifully done. But again, I already knew that. And
I guess he basically felt as though, and this is why I felt that with those films that we should have got, we got Man of Steel first, that we should have got Man of Steel. We should have got a Batman film.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Just Batman. And because the way I saw it was like this. What they should have gave us was Man of Steel. So we saw Man of Steel, right?
By the way, how do you guys? Because I'm a huge Man of Steel fan.
Yeah, I love Man of Steel. I love.
I see it as a science fiction first contact story, and I love it.
Yeah, I love the way it was done. But I always felt as though what they should have done, especially if they wanted to tie everything together, is given us they gave us Man of Steel, go into Batman, and if you want to tie in to what happened in Man of Steel, is give us the Batman film, and then at the very end, give us that tie-in to what happened on that particular day. Then give us a Wonder Woman film. At the end of her film, give us a tie-in to what happened on that day with Man of Steel, and that's how you bridge the gap. That's how you bridge.
Yeah, I mean, dude, when I saw that opening of Batman v Superman, when it opens with Bruce Wayne, and you see the end of the battle, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And it would have been cool to see the Wonder Woman movie start with that too.
With that, like just to start it that way, because then you're not, instead of just going strictly into Batman versus Superman, we get a Batman film, Wonder Woman film, and then give us Batman v Superman with Wonder Woman fleshed out, and it would be, because then you're not just tossing everything in, and just rushing the whole storyline and the narrative along. Just do something like that. Would have made it just more simple.
Totally agree. The Richard, our man, the Richard, right here on this channel, says, gotta polish this up. The Richard's Traveling Underwater Lounge teaser this weekend. It's as crazy as it sounds. Aloha. Well, the Richard, you've been talking a lot about what you're doing. I can't wait to see it. Happy to host it if you want us to do that. Whatever you want to do. I know you've been working very hard. I'm sure it's going to be epic. Show it to us. Give it to us. We all want it. Show us. Give it to us. The Jughead from the UK goes on to say, sends in a very nice super chat and says, the Batman is supposed to be one of the best hand-to-hand combatants. And the fight scenes in the Nolan films did not reflect this. In fact, they were kind of crap. Laugh out loud. Other than that, Bat Bale is still the best. Well, let me ask you both this. I mean, we are used to watching MMA fights on TV. You know, fast, real stuff happens. You don't even know why when people get tagged, why they are like knocked out. And yet, when you're shooting a fight scene in a movie, it's tough. It's hard. You have to actually slow things down. I mean, in an MMA fight, somebody just goes boom. You don't even know why, because we don't understand unless you've been hit what it's like to be tagged in the jaw or the face or whatever. But in a movie, it's like, and it's different.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you guys think? I mean, about fighting in the Batman movies. I think Pattinson, they've made him look fucking vicious as fuck.
Yeah, I know. I like it.
I do too, because it looks real.
Wait, that scene. Look, the scene that I'm stuck on right now is to see him walking through the highway with the guns flashing, and he's walking. Yo, that I can't wait. I definitely can't wait. I'm going to see.
And we're 2 months away. We can't wait. We're close. If COVID doesn't shut us down.
I know.
What do you think? I mean, how do you feel about verisimilitude and fight scenes with superheroes? What do you want to see?
I want it to be where the men's fighting. This is just my personal preference, but when a man is fighting, I want it to be brutal. I want to see brute force, and you know, if it's not that way, it doesn't have the same feeling for me. I
agree.
have mixed feelings about some of the female superheroes and fighting in certain situations. You know, so that's just my personal hang up, I guess. But some female superheroes have more strength under certain situations. So, you know, it's very hard to kind of accept a female superhero battling a man, you know, and having leverage. I'm still not entirely comfortable with it, but there are some female superheroes that are strong. But I'm still not, I guess, maybe convinced.
Interesting.
Definitely interesting.
But I like that, though. Well, listen, kids. What do you think? We've been here for 3 hours and
I just
almost
want to make sure
30
you
minutes.
got all the super chats, Robert. You did.
They're all done. All the super chats are done. I've gone through them.
Okay.
I think it was great. I mean, look, I think we end this first Midnight Metal on an optimistic note. Yes?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
The first thing I want to say is that, like, I've never met either one of your moms, but I feel a connection to both of your moms since we've been doing this show. And Lael, I want to say a shout out to your mom.
Yes.
I wish you the best. And of course, you know, I actually got to see your mom.
Yes, you spoke to her.
I got to speak to your mom, and what a delight she is.
Thank you.
So I think one of the great pleasures of this channel is to, you know, we are trying to create a family, a community, and that's why people tune in, I think. And to have met your mother, and to, you know, I haven't met your mom yet, Lael, but like I said, she makes great children. That's what I know about your mom. She creates great kids.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man.
You know, all of our prayers and hopes. I'm sure she's gonna be fine. I mean, what's your favorite dish she makes?
Oh my God. Okay, so listen, there's a couple of different things. Like, listen, my mother makes. All right, so I'll start with desserts first, since this is my favorite thing. So she makes, number one, she makes the best red velvet cake. Okay. So she makes an incredible red velvet cake.
I'm coming to your house. I'm out.
Oh,
going to Harrisburg, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you.
I love red velvet cake.
If anybody basically loves, I mean, listen, she makes that. She makes a coconut cake. So she definitely makes that. She makes the best sweet potato pies all the time. My mother, I'm telling you, she makes the best. Okay. I'm not because I'm vegan and I don't basically eat, but my mother makes the best She makes macaroni and cheese using 5 different cheeses.
Oh wow.
Dude,
Like literally.
dude, you're speaking my language.
5 different cheeses. My mother makes macaroni and cheese, 5 different cheeses. Like she literally, my mother
Can't you be
is
just vegetarian?
watering now.
Why do you have to be vegan? Be vegetarian so you can have cheese.
You can make
the thing is-
vegetarian mac and cheese.
Well, yeah,
Not
you
for
can, you can.
5 cheeses? You don't, come on, man. I'm going to Lael's mom's house just to be like, hey, I know Lael's not going to eat this. I'll eat this.
Yeah.
I've flown into Harrisburg from LA. Yo, what's up? I want to have
Yeah.
that 5 cheese
Bro.
mac delight.
5 different cheese, macaroni and cheese.
Oh my God, dude,
like
I'm-
literally, I'm telling you, my mother throws down, bro. Literally down. So if Rob, you come to Harrisburg, my mother will fix you up, bro.
If I
Guaranteed.
come. When I come.
when you come to Harrisburg, she'll
And you
fix
tell
up.
your mother, she
Yes.
better have those 5 cheeses ready. And I want to eat a whole trough. I just want
Yo.
to stick my face.
I got you. I got you. Everybody, look, everybody out in the chat, I'll rent out a hall and everybody come and we'll cook for everybody.
Dude,
Let's
we'll
go.
do a live midnight metal at that hall.
Oh, that'd be
And
so
your mom will be at
cool.
the center of it. Just
That would be so cool.
oh my
Yeah.
God, that'd be the most amazing
Oh
thing
my
ever.
Yeah.
Let's do
I'm
it this
telling
summer.
you.
Summer of 22.
Yes.
Party at Lael's mom's hall that she rented to make us.
Come on. Come
5
on. Let's
mac
go.
and
It's
cheese.
gonna be delicious.
But hang on a
go.
second. You said sweet potato pie.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Like, what's your mom's last name? Rockwell too?
What?
But no, my mother's last name is Bias. B-Y-A-S.
Oh, I was like, are you
BYS.
saying-
Bias?
Yeah, Bias. B-Y-A-S.
There ain't no bias at this
No, I'm
shindig.
just, you know,
Oh, wait. Yes, there is. Mrs. Bias is going to take your taste
Yes.
buds.
Mhm.
And you want diversity? You're going to eat her food.
Toya's in the
That-
chat. She basically, because my mother for Christmas, my mother made her own red velvet cake. Literally,
Oh, man.
she made it for her. Yeah,
I would royalty.
I'm telling you, listen, in the Rockwell household, it's never safe with the mother because, like, literally, she makes a smorgasbord. I'll tell
Sounds
you.
so delicious.
I'll tell
Dude,
you.
I'm
She-
coming to Harrisburg this summer.
I
We got
got
a
you.
party
Got
in
you.
Harrisburg. Why not do a 6
you.
scale man mom? Mom presents her 6 scale man son
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
And-
or something
when-
presented by, and we'll get
Let's go.
like 10 different sponsors to do it.
Yes. And when the
Yes.
con is in town near there too.
Yeah.
Go with this.
And then
Yes.
can we go to the Monroeville Mall and reenact all of Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Oh, I know, right? We'll just
Let's go.
descend there.
Let's go.
Why do you guys
I'm
want to
all
go to
in.
the
Let's
Monroeville
go.
Mall? Come on, man.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. We can go. We can definitely go. I'm all in. I'm definitely all in.
All right. Well, listen, both of your moms,
Yes.
we have to end this stream, but 2022 is all about the health and safety of your moms,
Yes.
and perhaps maybe bring them on the stream. Why not do a midnight? What about a midnight mom's medal or mom's midnight medal?
We can try to put something like that
We
together.
shall see.
We can try to put
I
something
just
together.
I just wanted to say that Martino, I'm looking forward to more episodes
How
of
great was that?
Martino's continuing series. Because now I'm hooked. I saw the promo, I saw the trailer, and I want to see more.
I do too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll tell you what I want to see more of. The two of you.
Oh, always.
I want to say you know, it's funny that this Fakakta Weird show has had many iterations as we've done it. And
Yes.
I want to say that Friday has become this erudite, like we're having conversations about philosophy and pop culture. I want to thank the two of you. I feel very honored and privileged to be
I'm honored
streaming
to be a
with both
part
of you.
it. I love this,
you.
man.
And
So honored to
listen,
be a part of it.
and Lael, I'm a better person for knowing the two of you, and we've had so much fun. And I look forward to another year of all of this, and it'll be great.
Yes, Another year of good things. We're going into the
Yes.
new year. We're actually in the we've arrived, so it's our
Yes.
opportunity for the best things to come. So I can't wait. Let's go. I'm
And
ready.
thank you to Tom Jr. Jackson for moderating tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you so
And
much.
and at this year's Comic Con, New York Comic Con, is going to cosplay as Finnick Shan.
I
Wow.
will, Leo.
Oh,
I will do that. I
wow.
will do it. I will do it.
I love that. I
Great,
love that.
great, great.
And I want to give a shout out to both of your moms for cooking up some nice children.
Oh, I
Aw,
appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
And
man.
you know what delightful ladies they are. And I
Yeah.
wish your mom, Lael, a speedy recovery. And
Yes, I'll tell her tomorrow.
your mom, I mean, what a smile she has. And tell her, I'll take her out. I'm gonna come to New York. We'll go out
You
in
better be
town.
careful with that, Robert.
Oh no, it's all right. I'll open a Pandora's box. Don't worry. I'll step up. But no, it's great to have you and your moms
Yes.
and everybody having a good time and Latoya T. By the way, again,
Yes.
Coco Tulip, the greatest name for a company perhaps in the history of companies. And is there a website? Can people go to it?
Yes, you can actually go to the Coco Tulip website.
Oh, well, great. Is it mostly female clothing?
For now. Well, actually, no, because look, you'll see me on there, and I have on a jacket straight from the Coco Tulip.
Okay, but
line.
here's what I want to ask: can we nerds go to the Coco Tulip website and buy our
Yes.
ladies some cool stuff?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
you can.
so dudes, let me just say, as somebody who's broadcasting this on my channel, is it cocotulip.com?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay,
it is.
if you guys want to get something that's way above your pay grade for a girl that you love, or you know what, or anyone that you love, I don't care. I don't want to make any gender, I don't want to make it an issue. If you want to buy someone something you love, you go to cocotulip.com. You buy something unique, something bespoke, something designed, something cool. And
Yes,
you know
yes.
what? You will watch a flower bloom with the scent of
you go.
chocolate.
There you go.
And your significant other will think you are the coolest person in the world. That's cocotulip.com.
There you go.
How about that?
There you go. That's like a full. I hope she recorded it.
She can download it and snag
Take
that
the
off
audio.
that. Yeah.
Take that audio. She got it.
By the way, I just want to give a full disclaimer. I just did that because I love Coco Tulip. No one paid me to do it. You're not like, yo, Rob, will you give me a shout out to my girlfriend's company? No.
Yeah.
You know why I gave her a shout out? Have you seen her? Like, oh my God. If they made a live action X-Men movie now, come on, Latoya. Storm. Come on.
Storm. I've been telling her.
Oh my
Storm.
God.
Let's go.
She is Storm. Look at her. Look at her.
I've been telling her.
I can't look at her that closely because she's your girlfriend and all that. I don't want to, I don't want to, But I'm just saying, look at her, and I'm thinking, oh wait, Storm.
Yeah.
I mean,
told
look
her-
at that.
I've told her
That
a
is
couple
dope.
times.
CocoTulip.com.
That's her line. That's her line.
That's some
Definitely. Check it out.
bespoke shit. Come on, get it. By the way, is
Check it
she in
out.
the chat? Is she is she on video right now?
She's actually in the chat right now.
She have a camera?
Upstairs. Nah, I don't think she has a
All
camera.
right. Okay, I'm just saying. Well,
I don't
Latoya
think she has a
T,
camera right now.
CocoTulip.com. Support Latoya T. By the way, give her my code. Burnett's awesome. Thank him for telling you to go there. That's my code.
Yes, that's his code,
Yeah,
and I will make sure she does so.
that's fine. You get no discount. You know why? You should pay double for Coco Tulip. Just saying. You don't have to. You pay retail. It's great. But I think you should pay twice because it's that cool.
Did I show you this? This is the mural that was created using her likeness.
Wait, hang on. Let me go full frame on this one, Lael. Wait. Well, I mean, it can't be quite full frame. Hang on. Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's the
Wait,
mural.
It's
breaking
somehow
up. Hold
breaking
on.
up. Oh my
Hold
god!
on. I
Come
got
back.
it.
Okay, now
It does this. Hold on. My
Wait.
phone's probably going out. Give me a second. I don't know if she put it up on a website yet. She didn't do that just yet. But
Look at that. That's pretty dope. Uh-oh.
I hate this. My
No,
camera.
wait,
I don't
come
know what's
show.
going
Oh,
on.
yeah, I'll put it up.
Yeah,
I'll put it up.
I'll send it to him. I'll definitely
Send to me.
do
Look. I have nothing. I can't talk about Tango Shalom anymore.
And
The Designing Hollywood podcast. I should just make a Coco Tulip promo ad.
Martino says that the next episode is called A Taste of Eternia. The next episode that he's making for his production. The next.
Well,
episode.
I can't wait. I mean that I'll play that once more before we leave tonight. Chips Bewick sends in a super chat and says, "Peace, Robtimus Prime, 1/6 man god, and Almighty and Lael." Chips
Yes.
Bewick, thank you for supporting the channel. God damn, how much fun has this show been? We had no structure, no craziness.
But that's what makes for.
Well,
a good
I did.
show.
I actually had. I'm sorry, I had that.
You had structure.
Yes, I always make a script before the show, whether we do it or not.
Yeah, but I have to say that
Someone has to be uniformed.
but you look exquisitely beautiful tonight. And by the way,
that's what I was going to say. Like, how is it that somehow we both look like we're sleepy, and it's like, like you just about to go to a club. Like,
I got some bedhead going on, and I mean, this. By the way, I say this respectfully. It's not a come on, but you look fantastically beautiful. Not that you don't always, but my God. It was very much appreciated, and look at how you sparkle. No wonder we're talking about Cleopatra, because you could have ruled Egypt. You could have been queen of the Nile. I'm all good about that.
Thank you.
There you go.
I actually, the reason why I make the script is because I'm trying to think of things that both of you will be interested in to talk about. So I have like a
very
list of things that I have to. Well, first of all, I just want to know what you think anyway. But I have a list of things that I'm compelled to ask you, even if it's not on the topic. I still have those things that I want to ask, and I just do it. So,
well, I think you are effervescent and amazing, and a great talent, and an intellectual creature that I just want to talk to. Because what can I say?
And we've been going for almost 4 hours, gentlemen.
I know.
Yes.
I think we're done with super chats. Why don't I have to go do a Designing Hollywood podcast later today. Actually, at noon. So listen, Lael, Rockwell, where can people find you on social media?
You can definitely find me at the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel, as well as Instagram and Twitter. Sunday, we will actually have Take Your Position, where we will be posing the entire line of Spider-Verse, whether it's video game or movie, what have you. So we're going to actually be posing that up. So it was a request, so we're going to actually do that on Sunday. Stay tuned, 4:30 Eastern time Sunday for that. On Monday is going to be Comic Book Talk with Friends, where we're actually going to discuss the DCEU and their future, where they're going for 2022. So stay tuned for that. I'll be with Rob and Justin's show on Tuesday night, where we be talking about everything collectibles, pop culture, stuff like that. Also, there will be Figure Talk with Friends on Wednesday. Now I want to pose something, because I'm just posing this live on the show while everybody is watching. I want to actually do part 2 of an interview with Robert Meyer Burnett, where we talk about his love, and I want him to educate me on the lore of Star Trek.
Let me think. You had me at hello. Come on.
Literally, I do, bro, because what people don't understand. Now, the thing is, for me, though, I'm a fan of nostalgia, but for the first, like Star Trek, the motion picture, to me by far was one of the films that it broke the mold of what it was to actually have like art in such a cinematic value on screen and how it was actually shot. That Wrath of Khan, these two films to me were just pivotal moments in my life when it comes to, just the exploration of Star Trek. And yes, I watched the series, but for those that need more education, such as even myself, because they know I'm a Star Wars fan, but when it comes to Star Trek, I am deeply invested. But to have someone really explain it would make so much more sense. And that's why I wanted to actually do part 2 of the Robert Meyer Burnett interview. And we're going to be talking about Star Trek.
Leo, it's funny you asked me about Star Trek the Motion Picture and Star Trek
Yes.
2 The Wrath of Khan. I'd like to say my mind is foggy and it's so long ago that perhaps I'm not the right guy to ask. But you know what? When I think about it, I'm like, no, there's only one person in the universe you should ask about that, and that's me. That's me, because I have a lot to say. So I will tell you. I appreciate that you asked me about that, so thank you. Yes.
Yes, let's
count me in.
Let's do it. We're going to do it. I can't wait. I'm all in.
I'm all in. Now,
and also, we got also one last thing. We do got next week we will be back, because like I said, last night's show got cut short because of my mother. But we will actually have, again, Uncivilized Scoundrels. We will revisit episode 2 and episode 3 of the Book of Boba. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Now, I have to say one of my favorite things in 2021 was to see your entrance into the YouTube pundit space. And I think you are a necessary voice, and you elevate the discourse. And it has been my privilege to stream with you. And I wish you and I could one day sit down and have a pint together, so I can sit across from you in the same room. And so it's great to be again streaming for you in 2022. So what do you have coming up? What's going on?
Well, I, of course, have my channel, Positive Fandom, on YouTube. And as you know, I'm reviewing many IPs like The Wheel of Time, Arcane, of course, anything Star Wars, as well as anything that comes up that we want to discuss. Robert, you and I are going to be going through the Coda book series together. That's going to be coming up. I'm almost done with the books.
I can't wait. Wait. Whoa, hang on. We haven't talked about it. What do you think?
Well,
a little preview, a little taste.
No, I'm not ready. I need a script. I have to have a script or else I can't. But what I was going to say is it'll probably be the week after next week. We're going to film the first episode.
Okay.
Okay.
I know he was told not to come on my show, but David Mack, the writer of the final book.
What?
Well, he's a friend of mine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he put me in his he wrote a 24, the series 24. He wrote a 24 novel. I'm a character in it by name.
We're going to have to discuss this.
Yeah, well, we should probably try and bring him on, but I asked him, I wanted to interview him, and a lot of people at Paramount and Bad Robot are not fans of mine, and I'm like, okay, so you don't like me, so you're not going to let me promote your product that I love? I was actually going to write a letter to somebody that I did a lot of work for and go, look, dude, give me a break. I love this part of the thing. Let David Mack, who wrote Oblivion's Gate, the third Coda novel, let him talk to us.
Yes.
Like, why shouldn't he? But you know what's so funny? It's so weird that now corporations like, well, these people are natural. They hate us. I'm like, I've been perhaps one of the biggest proponents of Star Trek novels of anyone, because everyone laughs at me. And the Coda books, you can't see, but, oh yeah, you can. So, let me just say that hang on. Let me take this down. This is Joy from Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
this right here. Oh wait, are you back, Lael? Are you back? We can't see you. Yeah, Lynn put you back.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I
okay.
just wanted to make sure my camera. Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, okay.
So let me just say that this is a DC release. Oh, you disappeared again.
Yeah, he's
Okay, you're back.
I'm still here. I'm just
Okay.
messing with the camera. Making
Oh.
sure,
Oh.
because you
So
see this happening. So if you see me go off, I'm still around. I'm just messing with the camera.
And by the way, this was the very first premium action figure that there ever was. This is the Toys McCoy Indiana Jones 6-scale figure from like 20 years ago, and I still think it's pretty damn good.
Love it.
So
Love it.
this is the. I have to move this over here. I see remnants of 6-scale stuff. This is the DC released Crisis. Hang on, it's got a magnetic.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
These are all of the hardcover Crisis on Infinite Earths tie-ins and the actual book.
Yeah.
So I have that.
Wow.
I know, right?
We're going to be going through all of that, Robert.
So, and I would say that the Coda series is the Star Trek equivalent of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And people don't quite get it. So this is the very first. This is the actual Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is the first hardcover. Marv Wolfman. I went to lunch with him at Jerry's Deli. He signed it for me. This is the Graffiti Designs hardcover. And so, yeah, I love this. Alex Ross.
Oh.
I mean, come on, man.
There's a lot to
Yeah, how
talk
much-
about, Robert.
You know what? Wow. Oh, whoa.
You know what came? You know what came with this too? Here. And one day, I it's funny because I have all this stuff that really I should like frame it and all that. So this book, this version, came with this, and he signed this in '98. So this is '98. I mean, it comes with the poster.
Nice. I love that. I love when they give you posters.
Yeah, well, the thing is, when you get these things, rather than like, oh, I have to keep it in mint condition, I'm like, no one gives a fuck. I should get this linen mounted and frame it and put it on the wall. So, anyway.
Well, I look forward to that, Robert, coming up. As I told you, probably the week after next, we'll start doing that. And then, of course, you can always find me on Thursday nights on the 1/6 Scale Man Network on Uncivilized Scoundrels, where we talk about Star Wars.
Yes.
On Monday nights, you can find me on Toxic Femininity with Lorena Creole at 8 p.m.
Who, by the way,
Eastern.
she's delightful. I love her.
Yeah.
Yes. And on Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on Midnight's Edge in the morning, streaming with the gentleman from Midnight's Edge, Tom and Andre, and sometimes Cameron Pasha. And of course, you can always find me here on the Burnettwork.
Well, on that note, lady and gent, I want to thank you for a fine introduction to 2022. It's great to have you here, and hopefully we're going to put this channel and you boys and girls on a paying basis this year. That's the plan, which would be good, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's time. It's time. None of this
just love
free
it,
shit anymore.
I love it here. I do it for the
Oh,
fans.
we
I
love
do it for
we
you,
love
Rob.
being
I understand,
love
but
it
you
here.
know what? You know what?
Guys,
You know
I
what?
love
It
it
ain't
here.
show friends, it's show business. And it's time to do some business.
But in this case, though, it is show friends, bro. Because
We
I
will
considered you
yes.
friends and family. So whatever happens going forward, this is what we are. We have a space that we can have these conversations. This is what I look for every Friday night. Literally, this is like what start.
Wait,
you know
wait.
what this
Friday?
feels
No,
like to me?
you mean Saturday morning?
Saturday
kidding.
morning, Friday. But you know what? This right here is the equivalent to my Saturday morning cartoons with cereal when I was young. This is what this the I swear to God it is.
Wow,
This is what it
I
feels
don't think
like.
there's a nicer thing anyone could ever say to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this is
love
the way
that.
it
I
is.
love
I
that.
want to say like
love-
Thundar the
Yeah.
Barbarian and Ukla the Mock.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it here.
So good. Well, kids, it has been so much fun doing this show with you. I hope everyone, I want to thank Tom Jr. Jackson for hanging in there.
Yes, thank you,
Tom Jr. Jackson might be the most valuable player of the Burnettwork.
We are
very well
all
be.
goof people.
We are all goof people, which has become the slogan of the show, coined by our own Tom Jr. Jackson. I want to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel via super chats and tips. Thank you for your opining and all of that. Those of you who become members and things like that. It's been great to have you here. Thank you all so much. And we will be having a membership chat. It was going to be tomorrow. It can't be because I have to do a Designing Hollywood podcast. Or maybe it'll be rescheduled to the late afternoon. Or tomorrow, Sunday in the morning. I can't do it in the afternoon. It might be late. Sometime this weekend. Look, it's in flux right now. And I'm sorry for that. Only because I wasn't told when certain things were happening. And if I was, I forgot. Because that's, yeah.
But you'll let us know on your community page, right?
But yes,
Robert?
absolutely, absolutely. I want to thank everyone, and well, Lael,
Yes.
thank you both for being here. Now, I would say, go to bed.
Yes.
It's time.
We need a good slogan. Come on, say it. I need to hear it before I go to sleep.
All right. Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen.
Listen.
And with that, I would say to everyone, have a better day.